Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
What a great video.
What a podcast.
What a bunch of guys, I'm telling you.
Shout out to Matthew there. And welcome to Grapsody. For those of you in the chat, I saw somebody say it in the chat. They were like, why y'all starting late? I bet it's Will's internet again. You are correct. Look at it. Look at it. What is this? This is nonsense.
It sounds like your voice not cutting out at least, so we'll have that. It's just maybe the video is going to be a little choppy today, but everything will be fine, guys. Just like bear with this.
I am like so fed up with Xfinity. And you know the hard part is that they got like a straight up monopoly here. Like there are 0 options for internet where I live except for Xfinity. And literally I used to live right around the corner from here. I had like 3 options. Now, 1. I have 1, and it's this one that for 4 years was great, and then all of a sudden the last like 3 weeks it's just been awful. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the problem has been, but I can't take it. It's been frustrating. I apologize that my image quality has gone to crap at the moment. I can already tell. I can see it. I can see it right now. And
well, you're done a little bit better than our homies in Canada who had a big problem yesterday. Like their whole half of their internet was out, like through all of Canada. Like no internet, no ATMs. The police were having issues. Nothing was going on. It was like just shut down. They went back to the 80s. Shit was crazy. The homies in Canada. Shout out to Mike Hamley, homie from Canada, my new co-host of Indeed. Y'all check out Indeed on Tuesdays. Yeah, that's gonna be really dope. But he was telling me like he couldn't use anything. Like imagine if our internet just shut down in America. Like it'd be like the purge out here because people can't handle.
Yeah, it's forcing people to go outside. I need a lot of people to go the fuck outside.
Yeah,
please.
Would that be a good thing? Is what I'm saying though. Some people need to stay their ass in the house.
I need some people to figure out something else other than sitting on the internet all day. Yeah. And I see Aaron in the chat. He said maybe you have a bunch of stuff running on your Wi-Fi at the same time. Well, no. Turned everything off. My TV, like nothing is running right now. And the thing is, my down speeds are fine. So that means I actually see Phil and Reg just fine. And I see everything coming through just fine. But I've been checking my up speeds. I'm not even getting 1 megabit up. So this is like literally sending at less than 1 megabit per second. And that is a problem. And I'm so annoyed by it.
That old AOL 56K connection is fucked up today, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're on right now. I love it here, man.
Yeah.
What a great day. What a great way to start Grapsody. What a great Saturday, everybody. Let's introduce ourselves. Who are we? Who are these people that are here?
I'm Will Washington with, I guess, choppy picture happening. And Philip Lindsey's also here. I'm also here. You can eat me and Shotzi's tank because y'all all need to shut the fuck up. If you're in my mentions, shut the fuck up. Sorry.
The bro said our tanks.
Nah, so it's on the shirt, man. Eat this tank, bro. Fuck out of here.
That's what's up. Hell yeah, I love it.
I'm not gonna lie. I first heard that as taint, and I thought, okay, if that's what we're doing here.
Will's jumping up. Phil's jumping right out the window. Huh? You're like, no problem.
Nah, we not jumping out the window. We letting Ryan Browse do that. Wherever he is, Ether Boy can do that. Not me.
Hey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also here, Righteous Reg.
You know who's in the building. It's your boy, Media Man, #1 in the fucking world. Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster here every Saturday for your entertainment. Everybody loves it here. Shout out to all the Grapsody fans at West Coast Pro. There was some last night just people coming up, it'll never get old and being like, "Are you Reg?" and me being like, "Yeah, I am Reg." "Oh, I love your content. I love your podcast." And it's like, what, dude? I'm like here to watch wrestling as a fan, but like, it's crazy, man. It's me. I'm here. I'm out here. They love Grapsody. We're just out here having fun on a Saturday morning, honestly. Like, it's not really, it's like a good time for us. That's what I tell them. I'm like, yo, I'm having a good time, man. It's just fun for me. Like, so shout out to all the Grapsody fans for being the fucking best.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And of course, we love everything you guys do for us. So leave us those thumbs up here on YouTube, and then also send us your super chat, send us your humper chats. We're going to be reading those, and then we got a little something special coming up here real soon that we'll be announcing here in the next little bit, and that's going to be fun as well. If you were in the mood for more Grapsody, we're going to be doing more Grapsody.
Y'all been waiting. It's been in the workings, the runnings, the things. Yeah, let's do it.
Although we do have a new interview in the can that'll be put up this week, and so check that out this week as well.
We always got some coming, y'all.
We always got something coming. Yeah, if there's nothing else we love doing, it's making content, and then we're gonna keep producing content. But here at the mothership of Grapsody, the core Grapsody, there's a lot to talk about. God damn, there's a lot to talk about.
When is there not?
Like, I thought, all right, this weekend we'll talk about some Tokyo Joshi Pro. We'll talk about all of that. And then it was like, nah.
Nope.
And look, I am going to talk about some Summer Sun Princess 22. I was up super late. I only didn't get to watch half of the second to last match, and I did not see the main event because at that point I looked up and it was 2 a.m. and I was like, you know what? I got to do Grapsody in 8 hours. Which means I'm not going to get 8 hours of sleep, so I should.
Who gets 8 hours of sleep every night?
What is that, right? What's that time?
Nah, man. Look, sleep is great. For any time I've ever heard the idea of like, nah, no sleep, team no sleep, any of that. Nah, man, sleep is the fucking best. There's no place I am happier than sleep.
And you honestly need it. Like, if you don't get it, your fucking brain doesn't work, man. Get some sleep.
No, I need some sleep, and this last month I haven't been getting a whole lot of it. I've been wanting to, I don't know, just fix that. But the funny thing was I actually forgot because it's like I knew Summer Sun Princess was July 9th, but I forgot that that technically would have been my Friday night, right? And so it wasn't until Phil said it in our chat, and I'm like, damn. All right, I'm gonna stay up. I'm gonna stay up and watch it. And so I did. I'm up. Yeah, I did, and I enjoyed it. We'll talk about that here just a little bit, but let's read some of the supers and the humpas. Let's see. We've got. Let's scroll all the way to the top, tippity top. So we just got one from Kai with nothing in it.
Shout out to Kai.
Although. Kai then followed up by saying, OMG, that went through, LOL. I was like, do I got money on my card? So you tested it by spending $1. All right. Shout out Kai.
Appreciate it, Kai. Cool. That's putting your life on the line for the Grapsody boys, so we appreciate it.
We appreciate that. And then we got, Ryan says, shout out to Will's 56K modem.
I'm saying, man.
Oh, I know. Right before the show, I got to hit the dial-up. It does that.
Man.
That's like a sound that's like burned in my brain. I'll be 100 years old
forever,
and I'll sit and people look at me like, what is that? What?
Those were the times, man. Kids these days don't understand it, man.
Don't understand. Your mom need to use the phone, so get off the internet.
It's over. Your internet time is done. You're done. Your mom's like, I need to call my friend, so get off. Damn it.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. No, my mom needed to talk to. My mom's got 9 siblings, so at any point, well, I was one of 10. So at any point,
phones were always tied up.
Phones were always tied up because these are, as I've mentioned, my mom is from the South. And so these are folks that spend a lot of their time just on the phone, just talking to each other. And so, yeah, internet time was like, I could use it late at night. And then if it were like middle of the afternoon, mom was going to be talking to one of her siblings.
It can't be 4 p.m. and you're using it. It has to be like 9 p.m., 10 p.m.
Yeah. So shout out, Mom.
Shout out 56K.
Shout out 56K. I had a 28.8 at one point, and then when we upgraded to 56K, it was like, damn, we are living in the future.
The future is now.
Future is now.
No, I straight up had
Flying cars are on their way, bro.
Yeah, like damn, we are this fast now. My songs used to take 20 minutes. Now they take 10. No, 10 was like if we were lucky. It would take.
I was
like
about to say, I don't know what line
you was
are you on?
Wild
Yeah, no.
56K.
No, that was 2 hours at best for a 5 megabyte song, and then videos just come back next week.
Yeah, just 133 megabytes. Oh, your computer's it's gonna die today.
Yep. Oh man, great times. The internet was
Great
I love
times.
No, I mean honestly, I recognize that this was like bullshit, right? But like, at the time, you know, downloading pictures and you set it to download, and then you like walk away and come back after you've made something to drink or something, and then maybe half the pictures loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They don't got it like that.
yeah, no, they don't got it like that. Message boards.
Chat rooms.
Yeah. Oh, I was all about the chat rooms though.
Everybody's about the chat
I
rooms.
was so this is how long I have been, I guess, a member of what we call the IWC, right? Because I used to be all in the so there was the MSN Pro Wrestling chat room. I was in like pretty much every night. And we were just talking about wrestling. And then but the first wrestling community I ever joined, and there are some Grapsody listeners and viewers who were also a part of that community. Shout out to everybody who I've known that long. But when I was 13, I joined the IGN Pro Wrestling community, known at the time as the Wrestling General Board. So I take that back. It was separated into 3 communities when I first joined. It was the ECW community, WCW, WWF, and then they had other. So I guess there were 4. Like the WWF community was like the poppin' one. Like everybody was like, by the time I joined, anybody wanted to talk about was Raw and SmackDown. Mm-hmm. And then there was the WCW board, which like had these like stragglers who were just convinced that the pendulum was going to swing back their way.
Back.
Yeah, no, they were like,
back.
They're like, pendulum's going to swing back our way. You know, wrestling is cyclical. Yeah, WCW had it. Now WWF's got it. WCW's going to get it back. And they're like,
it didn't work out too well, guys.
I know, right? And then there was the ECW crowd that was just like, there weren't that many of them, but they were the loudest. Yeah, and they were like, they would talk all their shit.
Just
and
like, burn it down, burn everything down. It's ECW, baby. Tables, barbed wire. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they were the loudest. And basically, it was just like these 3 boards. And of course, when it was announced, that I remember that's where I heard it, was on the message boards, that WCW was being bought by WWF, and then, you know, the war ended and all of it got consolidated, and I guess the board they ended up keeping was the WWF board because they won. The funny thing is, this morning I was literally just like scrolling on my phone and I went by that message board. It's still there and it still has people posting there. But yeah, shout out Wrestling General Board, where I got my start with internet wrestling communities and learning all the shit, and people would copy and paste that week's Observer, or I guess you couldn't really copy and paste it at the time because it was just physical. Like people would like type out the stories and stuff, and that was where I would like steal Observer stories at the time because I wasn't a subscriber. My mom wasn't going to pay for that. But
you weren't getting those trash scans. Remember when people used to scan like magazines and just put them straight on the internet?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, at times there were the scans too. Yeah, and then. It's all funny in hindsight, but that is how long since I turned 35 this year, so that was 22 years ago that I was just all on the internet, and then I was also like, I guess shout out to a couple weeks ago talking here on Grapsody. So my 3 communities were on those boards. So it was the WCW board, the WWF board, and the Dreamcast board. Like I was, I was one of those dudes like clinging to
in the Dreamcast.
I was clinging. I was like, nah, the Dreamcast is it, and I don't give a damn about the PS2.
Y'all were like those WCW guys.
We were convinced.
Don't come back.
Yeah, no, we were convinced.
It's gonna be
Dreamcast,
$9.99 all over again, man. We gonna live in it.
Yep. Anytime something like halfway decent was announced for the Dreamcast, we like swarmed over it. We would have like all these threads over how good this like bullshit ass game was that nobody gave a damn about. And I'm not talking about the good stuff. Like, obviously, there's the Jet Set radios. There's all that stuff, the stuff that people love. But I'm talking about, like, Headhunter. Like, nobody gave a damn about that game. But, like, we were so deprived of a Metal Gear Solid type game that anything that, like, closely resembled it, we were like, nah, Headhunter's going to be the game. And, like, nobody gave a shit about Headhunter.
Nah, wasn't popping off like that.
No, it wasn't popping off like that. A Distract Delude says, a penny for Phil's thoughts on, I am like gonna butcher the hell out of that. There we go. See, Natsupoi's return. Or turn, sorry. A lot of people online seem upset, but I think it's perfect storytelling after the TAM rematch. This was on
this was on
the
Stardom
pay-per-view.
I haven't watched the Stardom pay-per-view, but of course the clip of the Natsupoi turn is everywhere. I thought the way they did it was great. I had a feeling they were doing it after their last match because that seemed like their rubber match. And it makes perfect sense because what she said afterwards is, you know, I'm not a mascot. I'm not a pet for this stable anymore. I want to stand next to Tam. And it makes sense from where Tam came from, because Tam was kind of like the mascot for Wedo Tai, and she worked her way all the way up to being a champion and having her own unit. And so it makes sense for somebody else to see that and go, no, I want to be like her. I don't want to be under anybody's thumb. So I thought it was great. I thought the way they did it was great. I thought the super kick spot and everything they did on the apron was great. Can't wait to watch that match. Sorry if I spoiled it for people that did not see it.
Darn it.
Somebody asked, so.
Spoiler alert, you guys.
Yeah, I have to get into Stardom. I have been, because like I got really into Tokyo Joshi Pro in the last couple of years, and part of it is just Wrestling Universe is just makes things so accessible with, and that's also how I got into DDT. But it just makes things so accessible. But at some point, I think I have to jump on the Stardom train as well. When so many of my favorites currently came through Stardom.
Nah, Stardom is some of the best women's wrestling going on right now. Yeah. And speaking of main event of Impact, awesome main event. Shout out to Mia Yim and Indiana.
I haven't seen it, but I heard from a lot of people. I've heard good things. Yeah, it was.
I started Impact this week, actually. I try to watch Impact as often as I can these days.
Same here.
But because it's a good show, it's a genuinely good show right now. I actually did watch Alan Angels versus Speedball, and great opener.
Very good match.
And I thought.
Speedball.
And I love that's it. So Reg was saying last week.
I mean. The guy.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great opener, and I thought, you know, one of the things I love about the wrestling industry as a whole, and this isn't one of those, or maybe it is, who gives a shit? Yeah. I was going to say it's not one of those like digs at WWE, but maybe it is, who cares? But I love the way that the wrestling world just all acknowledges each other, even when people move on. Alan Angels, no longer in AEW, right? But the first thing they said when he came out is Alan Angels, known for his time in the Dark Order. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way wrestling should acknowledge.
That's who it is.
Yeah, and it's like, Impact's not going to pretend, oh, this is somebody brand new that you've never seen before who does.
Who is that?
Yeah,
right.
Like, and I love the way the greater wrestling world just acknowledges the existence of everybody, right? Like, it all just exists. I think that's a very good thing for pro wrestling. And I love that.
That's dope. Shout out to everybody watching Impact. Continue to watch Impact, man. It's a great show.
Yeah. Impact though, fix your white balance on like one of the cameras. As somebody who
just
was in
one of the cameras.
Yeah. Well, like it's one of the things that bugs me, and I was in video production for a long time, so this was something that we had to work on, and it's important. But like, the white balance on all of your shots should look the same, so that way you're not cutting to a shot that's that's warmer than the other shots. Like they should all ideally look the same. And Impact,
I think they do it on purpose. At this
that
point.
looks bad. Don't do that on
think they do
purpose.
it on
Man,
purpose.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they do it on purpose. It's funny.
Yeah, because like you're watching the show, like they watch the show and they see that. There's no way they don't see that. I think it's like purposely.
I know, it drives me insane the way it'll be like a cooler shot as the main shot, but then they cut to the other shot and it's warm, and I'm like, that's not the way TV like works.
Right.
And so like even if that's on purpose, stop,
Don't,
because that's
yeah.
not.
Or it could just be an old ass camera. They're just like, yo,
It's like, yeah, they got like one,
bro. Like, yo, like shit.
they got one camera that's like off of the others. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. Hey, I might go to the Impact show here next month. I think.
Oh, that's what's
Isn't
up.
Emergence here next month?
Yeah, they're
I can't-
ramping it up. So
I do have a problem with the frequency of Impact pay-per-views, and that I guess some of them aren't pay-per-views. But the problem is, like, it's not so much the frequency, but I guess the
They're like lower tier pay-per-views that are not actually pay-per-views. They're just kind of like specials.
right. But like they'll occur like 2 weeks after a major pay-per-view, and I'm like, I didn't even have time to like wind down from the last one.
right. Yeah, no,
and
they get
so-
right to it.
Yeah, I don't know what the motivation behind that schedule is, and maybe somebody explain it to me. Like, is it just these are the dates they ended up with? This is the best they can get.
I think maybe it's just to keep so they don't have to tape so much, because what they do is they shoot the big show and then they tape 2 days afterwards, and I think just 2 days they just tape everything until the next, and then all that is just focused on the next big show, and they just go to the next big show and just do that, just because they tape so frequently for the type of thing that they do. So, but honestly, I don't know, who the fuck knows, man. What are y'all doing? Y'all are doing some wild shit over there, Impact Wrestling. But watch it. $1 on YouTube, you can watch the show all you want, and $5 you can watch all the premium shows. So it's a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Raspy says, shout out to the fellas for bringing our perspective to the mainstream. 2 things. As a dad, Rock got to get his girl out the PC. Also,
Okay. Oh.
Eddie's theme, I had that thought actually. I had that same thought, so maybe it is just a dad thought. But also, Eddie's theme is fire, but I need Tony to pony up and get him What's My Name by DMX.
Wow, that'd be fire.
It would be fire, but I actually do like Eddie's theme a
Yeah, no,
lot.
this thing's pretty dope.
Yeah, I like his theme a lot.
But a DMX track would be pretty fire, though.
I know. I feel like part of what's worked for AEW in this,
that should have been pretty hard, actually.
Part of
Get
what's
the
worked-
money, TK.
part of what's worked for both AEW and WWE in their recent, I guess, using mainstream tracks is that, like, the older they are, the cheaper they are, right? So, like, the AEW uses a lot of 80s music. The only one WWE licenses is Ronda Rousey's theme, which is also 80s. And I feel like that's about the best you can hope for right now. Like, stuff that you still hear on the radio, in a sense. And What's My Name isn't one you would.
So he might be able to get like a Big Daddy Kane track or something.
Yeah.
A Rakim track or something.
Yo, Eddie coming out to Ain't No Half Stepping would be wild, bro.
That would be fantastic. Honestly, manifest that. Like, I would actually kind of love that.
Yes.
Jennifer says, weekly love and support. Can't wait for the interview drop. Keep shining, gents. Thank you so much. This is
Appreciate
actually
you,
a really
Jennifer.
fun one, and I think it's our longest one.
It is.
The one we recorded.
And that's only because they were like, stop. It would have been super long.
I think that one would have
Let's
gone
go
like
for it.
2 hours had we not gotten a DM that was like, hey,
We out.
we gotta go.
We had to go.
So yeah, that was gonna be kind of some full on like Grapsody content, and I hope you all love it. And if not, cool, don't watch it. But I don't know. That's the most I could say is like
That's it.
either enjoy it or don't.
America, love it or leave it. Remember they used to say that in WWF? I used to be like, something about that doesn't feel good. And I was a little kid when they were saying it. I'm like, I don't know that. When Shawn Michaels was telling Bret Hart that, I was like, that's not really hidden for me. Maybe because I was a big Bret Hart fan, but something always felt weird about it. And now I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah. You was on some wild shit, HBK. Bald head HBK.
Yeah, but there were certain wrestlers who like never got roped into doing like pro America angles like that because they knew they were whack. Like, think about how like Hunter, for example, like Sean had to work well, but Hunter never in his whole career had to work an angle where he had to be like pro America, like waving an American flag. None of that. Like, anytime John Cena was in that type of angle, Hunter was as far away from that as possible because he absolutely knew that is not stuff I want to be doing. That's not stuff I would be doing.
Cena came back out with the salute.
Man, Cena had the flag, the Marines behind him, all kind of shit.
Yeah, but Hunter, on the other hand, the most you ever saw him do anything like that is like tribute to the troops. Like DX comes out and they've got
man. Once that rap voice came off, boy, you know what time it was. Cena, he was out there, buddy.
Yes, I knew what time it was. It was time for me to go, and I went.
I told y'all in that conversation we had after we recorded this week what time it was, bro.
Yeah. Right.
And we've got a couple more on the Humper Chat front. I'm trying to get these going. So we got one from Van Twinblade. It says Glory Pro card for July 24th in
Let's
two
go,
parts.
baby.
Outlaw versus Tootie, belt for belt. Rohit versus Davey Richards, number one contender match. Warhorse versus Ethan Page. Dan the Dad with PME versus Cody Lane with Davey Band. And hold on. August Matthews, Max the Impaler versus Ali Catch, and then continued in part 2.
Man, Twinblade be going hard for Glory Pro. That's a hard card, though.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna try and split this into 2 for him because it's a whole lot of characters. So I'm trying to help a boy out here.
We owe him.
Yes, we do. So. Continuing on with Glory Pro goodness, it says part 2, Camaro Jackson versus Mike Bennett, Jake Something and Ethan Price versus The Hustle and The Muscle, Technical Difficulties versus Grindhouse.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit more here. And
a little bit more.
Also, Ethan Page, M&G before the show, meet and greet. Before the show, if you're local to St. Louis, tickets still available. All right.
Shout out to Glory Pro. Watch Glory Pro. Get IWTV to watch all the indie goodness.
And let's see. We got Anwar. Anwar says, what you got for us, Anwar? Anwar says, what was your most rewarding moment as a wrestling fan? We still want that 90s R&B retrospective episode, Will. Enjoy your weekends.
Mine's is easily I cried. The first time I ever cried as a wrestling fan was WrestleMania 35, Kofi Kingston. I had to run away from my seat. I was like, oh my, like all my emotions just came out.
Wait a minute.
I don't want anybody to see me like this. I'm like, yo, nobody can see me like this. I had to run away. Like that was like, yo, this is like I haven't felt that moment. Like that was it. Kofi Kingston.
Let me see, because Kofi was a big one. Like, I've got a video of my kids just, like, celebrating, running around the living room. Like, that was a big moment for us, which is crazy when you consider that, like, that is how effective that angle was. Right. My favorite wrestler, like, ever is Bryan Danielson, right? And, like, the fact that, for a moment, Bryan Danielson is not that guy. Like, Bryan Danielson has to be the enemy.
Danielson, the greatest wrestler of our fucking generation, man. Come on.
Yeah, but for the moment, Bryan Danielson's got to be the enemy because this is Kofi Mania. This is Kofi's time. And
that made it better, honestly, I think.
Yeah.
Bryan
the fact that WWE Championship is like Bryan Danielson is in this moment. Like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. I can't fight that. I mean, I guess on the other end of that, like, you know, WrestleMania is a big one. Talking about Bryan along those same lines.
Bryan was he was along those lines too, definitely, because it felt like he wasn't going to get the opportunity. He got fired at one point. There was all this shit he went through, and then for them to be like, okay, it's fine. It felt like the moment happening. WrestleMania 30 I put up there too. I guess that's what you're talking about, because like his moment was like, yo, I can't believe Like, how do we get to like Bryan Danielson being the man? Like, when I used to watch him in Ring of Honor, I never thought that he would be that guy. And then he was that fucking guy. He was on the front of the New Orleans newspaper holding up the 2 belts, and it's like, what, dude? This is crazy.
Yeah.
I guess my real answer is
real answer.
Honestly, to me, like the moment that I think there's like a home video of me like going crazy, but Backlash 2000, and a big reason for that in Washington D.C. Part of the biggest reason for that is how much they like strung us along for a year on The Rock getting that big win. Like it was. The Rock was getting title shots like once a month, and every time he got fucked.
He was the number one contender straight up for like 2 years.
All the time.
He was just the guy.
Yeah, and it was like babyface Rock kept getting these title shots. He faced The Undertaker, King of the Ring, lost. He faced Hunter countless times and just lost. And
every
it was
time
like
I lost to Hunter, a part of my soul just died. I was
right.
Like, stop it.
Like that first episode of SmackDown, Rock versus Hunter for the WWF title. Shawn Michaels, a special guest referee. Rock gets screwed. And then it was like, okay, WrestleMania 2000 has to be Rock's night, right? Like the McMahon in every corner. This is the Rock's night. It has to be it. And then he still got screwed. And I'm like, when are you going to do it for The Rock? How is The Rock going to just have this moment?
Speaking of which, his Royal Rumble win, that the segments he was doing with Big Show have to be one of the funniest the funniest Rock segments ever, bro. I cried laughing at that.
Yeah, that was some of my favorites. But like, and then they even strung us along throughout Backlash, right? Because like Backlash, Vince McMahon gets on the mic and he's like, well, I know we advertised Stone Cold, but Stone Cold's not here. And crowd is just pissed. And like the whole, even just through the night, we're just like, give us this Rock moment. We just want it. And then the whole deck is stacked against The Rock. Yeah, Shane McMahon is special guest referee. You've got Patterson and Briscoe just coming out here beating on The Rock. Like all the stuff that just... And then when Austin's music hits and he comes out with the steel chair, lays everybody out, Rock hits hits a spine buster on Hunter and then people's elbow. Stephanie shoves Linda and then Earl Hebner. You babyfaced Earl Hebner, the guy who committed the fucking screw job. You babyfaced this guy. Babyface Earl Hebner, the pop of his career comes out.
Pop of his career.
Look, Earl Hebner was never gonna that man got you screwed Brett chance before this and after, but in this particular time period, they managed to get Earl Hebner cheered, and this man comes out to the ring, big pop, and he delivers the 1, 2, 3. The Rock is the champ. I was like elated, over the moon. Finally, The Rock has become WWF champion, and yeah, this is great. It was. Yeah, I loved it. That's the most rewarding moment to me. Was and it made Backlash matter, oddly enough, because that was one of those pay-per-views that, like the year before, like pretty much all the side pay-per-views were like, you know, the ones that matter are the big four. Those are the ones you're gonna get the big moments at. And then WrestleMania 2000 like sucked, and we didn't get the big moment there. The big moment happened a month later at Backlash, and that was the first time that I ever felt like, okay, one of these bullshit ass pay-per-views actually kind of matters. So like that was a rewarding moment for me. What about you, Phil?
Man, I mean, Kofi is an obvious answer for me because I was a big Kofi fan way before Kofi Mania. I was one of those guys that was on either message boards or on Twitter going like, yo, make Kofi champion. He's been ready. I remember one year they put that Black Champions thing out, and I was like, still haven't been a Black WWE champion yet other than Rock. And somebody was like, who's there? And I was like, Kofi. And so when it finally happened, I was like, I've been telling y'all for years, book my guy as champion. So that was rewarding. But I would also say Kenny finally beating Okada is one of those really rewarding moments. Him, you know, being on the Young Bucks' shoulders like the end of a karate movie. It was great.
As the culmination of all, like, the greatest matches of all time, yeah, that's pretty fucking rewarding for sure.
We got another one. Eloquent says, peace, fellas. Went to Dynamite last Wednesday. First ever live show, and it was so much fun. Loved every second of it. Got to catch the TJPW show later today. Saw lots of people tweeting about it.
Shout out to the homie Eloquent as always. Go to eloquent.bandcamp.com and get that shit. And you went to a crazy show because that Eddie Kingston match was, whew, brother. Yes.
So first off, first ever show, like that blows my mind.
First one.
Well, you would think that would blow my mind, but like I sat next to a guy at in Arthur Ashe at Grand Slam last year, and he was like, "Yeah, this is my first show, like ever." And I'm like, okay. Yeah. That blows my mind because of the fact that like, look, I've been to like 100 WWE shows at this point. I've been to indie shows, like I've been to. And I've probably been to like 15 AEW shows at this point. But I have been to a lot over the years, right? But AEW still feels so new to me that when somebody says their first show is an AEW show, like
that's crazy.
That.
Yeah, no, but I'm thinking about it. I've been hearing that pretty often about people having their first show. Last night, the homie Ness was at his first independent wrestling show he's ever went to. I hear people saying that shit all the time, especially with AEW, because like, I don't know, it seems like at times WWE didn't seem as accessible, which sounds insane for some reason. But AEW has cheap tickets. They have, I don't know, it's just something about AEW just draws them out. So.
Yeah, WWE tickets are expensive.
Right, you know what I mean?
Tickets are expensive.
I do think, though, that I think Tony could do a much better job of selling the experience. I feel like that's one of the things that the AEW like doesn't do at all. Is and WWE doesn't really do it at all anymore either. But like that was the thing that used to draw me to shows. Do you remember WWF used to run these ads in the middle of commercial breaks where it'd be like the attitude, the excitement, nothing beats the experience of the WWF live.
It was like camera going in and out like those girls going wide.
Right. But they would show show shots of the audience and they'd be like, you want to be here. This is the place that you want to be. Look at how much fun all these people are having. And I feel like
so bad.
And I feel like AEW could probably do a better job of selling that. Like the crowd itself kind of sells it of like, look how much fun they're having. These are fans. But like really like push that. Like do some like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, push the idea that look, these fans like have a great ass time here. You want to be here because you want to be a part of this. Like I think that it's almost an easy sell because of the fact that fans do enjoy being at those shows.
That's great. That's funny because I was just looking the other day to find Fight TV put out that tweet. What was your first ever wrestling show? And I went through a bunch of. I was trying to find. I went to like these archives of just WWF house shows, and so it's crazy because they were in California legit. Like I went through like probably like 1991 to like 1994, and they were coming to California every month, like legit every single month for like 4 years. It could have been before that and after that, but like it's crazy how consistently they were out here and consistently they were touring. It's like I see why all these wrestlers were like they were because these schedules were insane.
I mean, do you see Austin Creed posted his schedule for just this coming week?
I did see that. Yeah,
and I'm like, man, like the fact that he has like Breathe in his schedule just because at some point.
I mean, his is a little more extreme because he has a TV show, but still, I mean,
he's out here, but it's just like be at this house show, be at this house show, be at TV. Then you got G4, then you got Up, Down, Down, Breathe. And then you got
by the way, his profile picture at the moment is hilarious. Have you guys seen it? No, it's hilarious. It's a picture of him punching somebody on the ground, and it has like it has like vaguely Jackie Chan in the background being excited and approving of it. It's great.
That sounds hilarious.
And if you've never seen one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, by the way, is the interview I did with Danielle Fishel last year, Topanga. And she talked about that Boy Meets World episode they had filmed at like a house show
with Vader and
with Vader. Right. Yeah, and that was filmed at a house show in Cali. and that
California, baby, I'm telling you. Yes, it's crazy. Yeah, but
Like
I actually found one of the. I don't think it was the first show I ever went to, but it was the second show I ever went to, and it was at Bakersfield College, and it was main evented by Razor Ramon and Diesel. And I just remember at one moment I got like a replica, but one of the little replica belts. And I remember at one point I was just yelling at Razor and Diesel for like a long time. The match had already started, and I was just like, "Hey, look at my belt!" Like to them for so long, and then I just like snapped back into reality, be like, "What are you doing? Like everybody's sitting down, like you're being weird." I always remember that moment. That's a forever moment. 1994 pro wrestling, it'll never leave. Man, what a great time! I love it here.
I remember one time I was at a show, first wrestler I ever met. And shout out to this experience and RIP to the man. I met Canyon, and he signed one of my belts, and
Everyone always has such nice things to say about him. He seems like he was like the greatest guy.
But he hesitated, right? He was like, "Should I sign this? I'm not a world champion." It was my big gold, and he was like, "I'm not a world champion." And I was like, "You will be." And he was like, "That's right," and like signed it.
That's what's up. Damn, that's what's up.
Yeah. So
Shout out to Canyon. Keeping it real in the 90s.
He was actually, like I said, the first wrestler I ever met when I was a teenager. First person I'd ever seen on TV and then seen in person. So, shout out Smiley. Good morning, boys. Wanted to stop through and say hi. Love y'all. Hey,
What's
we
up?
love you too.
Tracy. What's
Appreciate
good, Tracy?
It was funny. Somebody asked her what her real name was, and she said, "Just go watch Grapsody because they drop it all the time."
Tracy, I be saying it all the time. Tracy, what's up? Text me, my friend.
I saw that on Twitter, and it just had me laughing. Shout out Tracy, and shout out Kate too.
What's up, Kate?
She said, "Realized last night Bianca is the only black woman on the main." We realized that a while ago. And only 2 black women in NXT. Yikes. Love for the Graps fellas. Keep that same energy.
But this used to be Wakanda is what they were telling me. They were telling us this was the end all be all though.
Nah, fix your white balance, WWE.
You're the one that needs to fix your white balance, bro.
Kai says, "Can we manifest a long-live Morgan title run, please? Love to see it."
Take Ronda Rousey to bed.
Yeah.
Like go go be a mom because we are good here.
Nessie Nest TV says, "Shout out to Reg and West Coast Pro. Last night was dope for real.
That was his first independent wrestling show, and he got the experience. You know me at an independent wrestling show, and if you're kicking,
I know Reg at an independent show. Reg,
Mixy boy in the building when it's
Super
a wrestling
mixy.
show, boy. I'm telling you, I love nothing like just being at an independent wrestling show, standing in the back, absorbing all the fans, talking to wrestlers. Just it's the best. I love it.
Matt says, "So to steal a line from my favorite roads, so what do you want to talk about?" Shaking my head at the creepy old man. Yeah, we're gonna talk about creepy old men here in just a moment. Let's see what else.
Have to.
They're talking about. Ryan said, "My best bros now are from message boards in 1998." I mean, look, man, that's really what it was like
Forever, and they used to call them nerds. Like, oh, you're on boards all day. You don't even have any friends. Now I got a bunch of friends, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing about that is that like back then, like that was a really nerdy thing, right? To like meet people online, to know people from the internet, and to have friends that you know from the internet, right? Like I'm not gonna lie, that's who I was. I was. But the hard thing was
super risky as well.
But
at the time.
Oh yeah, no, my mom was like, "Do you know who you're talking to online? Like, are these other 13-year-olds or are these like?" And I'm like, "I think so."
Mom doing her job because it was definitely some creepers.
Yeah, and in hindsight, though, my mom was definitely doing her job. She was asking the right questions. But yeah, back then, and the weird part was finding that balance, like striking that balance between. Like I had my IRL friends and I had my my internet friends, and then there were times where I'm like, nah, I just want to like go online and just like chat. I want to open AIM, and I have friends that are like, nah, you got to come do the thing, and I'm like, nah, I have another thing I have to get to, and like, what's that? I'm like, watching Raw with friends in a chat room.
You were doing what was my man? I don't remember that kid's name at First Kid, but he was typing on whatever that snake message board was. That one creep guy.
Yeah, for his first kid.
Whatever that was. That was weird scenes in that movie. Why was that in that movie?
Hilarious.
Mike from Indeed says,
Shout out to Mike. Indeed, baby. Tuesdays.
Says, happy Saturday. Hope you're all having a good one. No questions, just sending love. Well,
It's us.
yeah, we appreciate the love. Always appreciate the love. A couple more, and then we'll get into it. Shane Monster says, shout out to Alex Windsor for winning the TJPW International Princess Championship. Did not see that coming, by the way. That was... I don't know. I was expecting the eventual comeback from Maki, and then we just didn't see it. She's beat her.
Nah. Maki threw up that that middle finger. Alex felt the way, man. She folded her right on up with the power bomb after that and put her away.
I know, right? Japan needed a new cocky Brit since Priestley Hater left Stardom.
Man, I was just telling you, when is the last time you've heard anybody talk about B. Priestley? Like, since she made the move to NXT UK, you don't hear anybody.
I mean, she got hurt for a little bit, though. And now, and then I know she's back. So.
I'm sorry, Blair Davenport.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's her name over there?
Yeah, Blair Davenport.
And I'm still like, what?
But yeah, like, I feel bad because, like, she was hot at one point with Stardom, and now it's like.
Well, luckily they're using NXT UK as a developmental for NXT 2.0, which sounds wild as fuck. So maybe she'll be over there soon.
But they kind of always were, though, because like Toni Storm went from
you're right. Yeah.
One to the next. Same with Rhea Ripley.
Right.
Tim
Kaylee
Gordon
Ray
says, shout out. With the idea of the All-Atlantic belt being clear now, AEW should make an All-Pacific belt and give it to Rhea Mizunami to defend in Japan.
I would love that. I love Rhea.
Shida, I would say. And look, I know I'm the Shida fan.
Big surprise.
Get a Nikki out here.
Well, and the reason is because one, Shida's like actually signed to the company,
right.
And she also has a like full-time residence in Jacksonville, so it's one of those things where
it'll just work out.
It'll work out because she is frequently in Japan, but she also is an American resident, so then she can kind of pull off both. And I feel like that would also give me what I've been asking for, which is that, look, give Shida a run in front of fans.
Right.
I said on Twitter last night that people forget because of how long it's been. But, like, Shida's rise in AEW was so organic that she just got naturally over with people over time. It just kind of happened. It unfolded in front of fans. I remember that first match she had on Dynamite. Because like she had a couple matches in AEW previously. She had the match with Riho at All Out, and she had the Joshi match at Double or Nothing. But her first Dynamite match was against I want to say Shanna, and
it was Shanna.
Yes, and I think that was on I could probably even pinpoint the date and probably the city.
Wouldn't
I think
be
it was
surprised.
October 30th, 2019, and I think the city was Charleston, West Virginia. But the so the thing about that match though was like the crowd was almost like disinterested when it started, but by the end of the match, they were like really into it, really into Shida. And then you could kind of hear it as the weeks went by. Like she had the match with Britt, and Britt was the baby face in that match, but like fans were into Shida. When they had that 4-way that wasn't supposed to happen because it was originally supposed to be Chris Statlander versus Riho, but then Chris Statlander had that booking, so then they were like, well, then Riho's going to defend the belt against the other 3 contenders in the top 5, and that ended up being Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Shida. And Shida got cheered in that match over everybody to the point of where they were like Shida chants over the other 2 baby faces, Riho and Britt Baker, who you would have assumed would have been the ones that they were kind of more behind. And then I remember it was the last Dynamite with the crowd before everything shut down, which is in Salt Lake City, where the Holy Shida chant started. In a tag match, it was Shida and Chris Statlander versus Nyla Rose and B. Priestley. We're bringing it full circle. And that match in particular, one of the things I remember about that was one, Shida got pinned. Not only did she lose, she got pinned in that match. But that was where the Holy Shida chant started. That the crowd was just naturally getting into her as the weeks went on. Pretty much as time kept going, she was getting naturally more over. But then when it was like, okay, so we have to pull the trigger on a title win for her. She's like the first naturally over female that the roster had developed. And by the time it came time to pull the trigger on the title win, there's no crowd. And that sucked to me. That sucked that the big payoff for her getting over with fans didn't get to happen in front of fans.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that loss she took in that tag match was the only loss she took in 2020, isn't it?
No, she took another one in another tag match.
That's what it is. She didn't lose any singles matches.
She didn't lose any singles matches, other than the 4-way. She wasn't pinned in that 4-way, though. Britt got pinned. But yeah, in 2020, she had 3 losses. It was the tag matches and that opener. God, I know Shida's career really well.
Talk about Shida all day.
As champion, that people were acting like she wasn't over because that just wasn't true.
No, it wasn't. And that was the thing that was bugging me, right? We were like, there's an infamous clip of somebody going that she was only being pushed because she was with Kenny, which like wasn't true at that time, especially. That was horseshit, and it was like, and my big problem with that was that completely ignored how naturally over she had gotten with fans as Dynamite was just playing out. And she didn't even debut on Dynamite till a month in, but like you could see people were just gravitating to her. And then, like I said, then Holy Shida happened. And you could even see her, like she got on Twitter immediately after. She was like, Holy Shida. And like, that's like her thing now. She had it written on her face yesterday or this morning at Summer Sun Princess. Like she has run with Holy Shida.
And also that's super dope what they're doing with Pac. I'm excited to see him defending this belt all over the world. Tony Khan announced they're gonna broadcast the match,
the Rev Pro match
this Tuesday on AEW Dark. So that's dope. Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And if because that was my concern about the announcement of Pac having these defenses. I thought, is AEW going to have this footage? If they don't, then it's a great.
Tony Khan's going to get him some footage, bro.
Because I'm like, it's a great sell. It's a great sell for anybody who can get their hands on booking Pac, right? Because all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're going to see
got a match on Dark. Yeah,
you got the AEW All Atlantic Championship being defended here. But if you don't have the footage, they're going to
show clips of it on Dynamite too. So,
he said that they're going to show it on Dynamite. Like this is exactly what Pac essentially needed if he can't be here as often as he used to be. This is great.
Awesome.
Yeah, seeing him defend the title, and then you can basically have Pac be the showcase guy. I actually really love it.
And Pac against anybody ever is amazing, so it's going to be great.
But yeah, it's nothing against Ryo Mizunami. It's just more so I would think somebody under contract would work out better. Yuka Sakazaki is under contract, so she is another one that I could see doing that for. But either that or sign Ryo Mizunami, I guess. That's another thing you could do. But I would say either Shida or Yuka would be the two I would go for. Or, hey, Riho. Why not? She deserves another shot. She's another one to run back.
Yeah, I would love to see Riho as champion again.
Yes. She and Mei Saruga were
fire. Come on, man. High speed style match, man. They were killing it.
Yeah, just killing it. Great stuff. Forbidden Door was Dumb Punk. Was me and my fiance's first show. What?
Wow.
I've been a fan for 20 years. It's unbelievable it took me this long. Forbidden Door.
And that was the show y'all went to? It's crazy out here. That's insane.
United Center, Chicago, Illinois.
Amazing.
That's
such a great show to go to.
What better place to see it? Come on.
Yep.
That's crazy being a fan for 20 years and never going to a wrestling show. You were just like never interested? Like what's the that's interesting.
Oh, Tom Anderson, the MySpace dude. No, not actually the MySpace dude. But he says West Coast was fun yesterday. My son's first show. Well, this is Tom from RBR Email Fans. Love your new show. doesn't really feel all that new to me anymore because I've been doing it 9 months. But
Yeah.
thank you, I appreciate that.
West
And yeah,
Coast
of course,
Pro, baby. Woo, 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 woo. My homies out here. Everybody's representing.
of course, I remember Tom from the RBR emails. He's a teacher, and lives in obviously Cali.
California.
Remember Tom?
How do you
vividly.
remember that? What's your brain? What's in there, dude? How do you remember what Tom from fucking MySpace, the first guy that's your guy when you start your MySpace page? How do you remember his occupation? I don't get it.
I remember that. I remember a lot about people I meet though, and I get that a lot too when like people have or people who have been interacting with the shows I host. I get that a lot when I meet people. I remember at Arthur Ashe, I met a dude, Will from New Jersey. Shout out Will from New Jersey. Met him and he's like, I'm not sure if you know who I am or remember. I'm like, of course I do. Like, what are you talking about? You're Will from New Jersey. And like it just happens.
That's amazing.
But let's see. Chris says, first time catching live in a while. I'm so excited for Eddie's barbed wire death match. My sister bought me tickets for Dynamite a while ago for my birthday that week. She is flying down to Atlanta. That's right. That's
Awesome.
the Atlanta show. And I know that because Darby was talking about being excited about like not having to drive very far because that's where he lives.
ATL. Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of ATL, your boy Baron is wrestling Lil Scrappy.
Oh,
I sent that-
That's really happening.
Yeah.
I sent that to a friend who doesn't watch wrestling just to be like, look, it is wild out here right now.
Yo, Lil Scrappy and Baron Black are facing off in the main event of fucking Battle Slam. This is, I can't even. You don't want no problem. Scrappy's here. I hope Scrappy's mom's there from Love and Hip Hop. She's amazing. Mama D. I love Mama D. I deserve. She was amazing. I hope she walks him to the ring and this is going to be amazing. I love what Baron Black is doing.
It always annoys me, by the way, that WWE only capitalized on it one time, and it was in a video game. But Lil Scrappy literally had a song called "Money in the Bank," and
yeah, they should have gotten that.
I feel like, especially considering how like awful that song that they used, like they used the fake Donald Trump song they had for so long.
Money. Awful.
Yeah. They very well could have just like I would have every year. It needs to just start out with the doop doop. Okay.
That'd be hard. Come on. I want it now.
But yeah, the first because the first SmackDown versus Raw that had Money in the Bank in it had that song in the game itself, SmackDown versus Raw 2007.
Speaking of, if anybody want to get a beat down, I just got
You got it. I saw that.
K22 Xbox One. I'm not that great at it, but I will beat you. My first wrestler I picked out the gate, homeboy. He's a friend of the show, Swerve Strickland.
That's who
great.
Billy plays as too. But
What a great character to
but you know
play
what's funny?
with, man.
I'm a bust him out here. That is not who Swerve plays as.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I would assume
Even
most
though
people don't
that
play
man,
themselves.
that man did all of his own mocap in the game, like
It
all
looks
of
like
his,
it.
yeah,
I
all
was
of his
like, damn,
movements.
everything looks great in this.
It's all accurate. He did his own mocap for it, and so like his is accurate, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But no, he don't play as himself. I won't say who he plays as.
That's hilarious that he did his mocap because I was thinking like, damn, this shit.
Hold on,
really
I'm gonna
looks
type
like
in the
Swerve,
chat
bro.
who he does play as, and you're gonna laugh. But
Oh, not surprised.
but yeah, so
For why?
but yeah, so
No, I get
fun
it because
times.
that's how it is for that guy. Like
Yo.
people like in the industry, like people like that guy.
Yeah. So Nathan DePaul says,
That's hilarious.
what? Could that happen? I don't know. Sorry, I didn't even read it out loud.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pac versus El Hijo del Vikingo at Triple Mania for the All Atlantic. Who says no?
I say
mean,
yes, please.
Conan? Like, I don't
Go then. No, I feel like that could definitely be a thing. That could definitely work. I could definitely see Pac in Mexico.
All right, so let's talk about it. All right, we are an hour into the show. We've avoided the topic that is the title of this episode, right?
Nasty awards. Get them out the fucking cupboard.
Dust
bro.
it off, buddy.
Man.
what the nasty dick award, the NDA.
My God,
That's
don't. Jesus Christ.
all right. So we got more updates on old Vince this past yesterday. This past Friday, Wall Street Journal published.
It seems like it's been a week, but that was a long day yesterday.
No, they published an update revealing, at least over the last 15 years, $12 million in payments made to women by Vince McMahon to silence them for sexual indiscretions. Holy shit, $12 million. You only paid $8 million for WCW. What the
Yeah.
$12 million. Like,
you could have brought 5 wrestling companies with that.
You see, Missy Hyatt went over a list of things that could have been paid for. She's like, health insurance for wrestlers. Like, just a whole list of things that $12 million could have paid for. Like, buy some high-end hookers. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
$12 million. Like,
if you're gonna be giving up the money, give it up for a good cause, not for being a creeper.
I know, right? Like, you don't. Okay, so let's talk about it though. So Vince McMahon and WWE. Of course, there's questions here, right? Like, is this it? I've talked to wrestlers who have asked that very question. Like, is this the moment? Is this the one? I don't know. I can't say what's going to be the one because the reason that Vince got to this point is because he's been fairly untouchable for the last 4 decades. That he has felt like he can get away with whatever he wants to.
I thought there was a bunch of the ones coming up already. I'm like, oh, this is the one in 1998. Oh, this is the one you know what I mean? Like, and it hasn't been the one. So, it's hard to say. I agree,
But it's a different time now.
Yes.
It's a very different time. People do not let things go. Things do not just disappear. And the way that companies bow to public pressure these days is almost unprecedented as well. Yep. Where, in days prior to social media, there was no public pressure to adhere to. Shit just kind of disappeared if the news wasn't talking about it. And so all you had to do is just wait things out. It goes away, and then you can resume life as normal. That doesn't happen today. Nope. This stuff exists forever, and this one exists forever. Guys, I'm going to tell you, there's a couple of people named in this, not named in this article, but mentioned in this article that there's details about what went on. There's one particular person where the article, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone, states, where is it? There it goes. Where it says the previously unreported settlements include a $7.5 million pact with a former wrestler who alleged that Vince McMahon coerced her into giving him oral sex and then demoted her and ultimately declined to renew her contract in 2005 after she resisted further sexual encounters, according to people familiar with the matter. And then there's another one that had stated that in a 2006 agreement, a former manager who had worked 10 years for Mr. McMahon before he allegedly initiated a sexual relationship with her was paid $1 million to keep quiet about it, according to people familiar with the deal. Here's the thing. This is not something you need to speculate about publicly. This is not something who's do so privately if you're going to do it. Because I recognize humans are naturally curious. Humans are going to try and figure these things out. Sleuths are going to try and do the thing. Fine. But just recognize that I'm going to repeat what Sean Ross Sapp said about all this yesterday, which was that if they've signed NDAs, they can't defend themselves. They can't confirm or deny what's taken place here. So bringing their names up publicly is basically subjecting people to scrutiny that they otherwise can't discuss. And so I don't see any reason or purpose in doing so. But man, this motherfucker's nasty. Like,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. No, this is.
It just leaves so many questions as to every woman that's ever been in this fucking company. You know what I mean? Like how everyone ever, all of your favorites, have they had to deal with this shit? Every single one of them, there's questions surrounding them now. Did they? If they didn't, why not? Like there's all these things. Mickey James tweeted something kind of wild. I was like, yeah, I don't know if she should have tweeted that. But it's like all these questions of like all these women that have ever worked for this company for 40 years. Did they all have to deal with that? There's so much surrounding this, and it's like, now there's still women there. Now you got to get this guy can't exist in a space where there's all these people that could still be influenced by this person. It's a lot.
And there's also in the article, there's a big settlement that came out from John Laurinaitis as well.
Right.
So this
yeah, it's nasty.
It's nasty, and
he's directly handling the hiring and firing. John Laurinaitis, like he's talent relations, he's the guy, you know what I mean? So like it's just,
and there's rumors that there's more to come, but at the end of the day, as far as the wrestling operations are concerned, everybody at SmackDown last night said it was business as usual. Vince, of course, there. And I mean, I don't know if it was business as usual as the show was written, because like, what was that show last night? That was look, I try not to just like harp on
what is that. What does that do? Like, is that promotion, or do you want to see SummerSlam now? Like, I don't know, what's the point of the show is what I'm
I didn't watch it, guys, sorry.
Look,
I watched it for 30 minutes before I went to West Coast Pro, and I didn't see shit in that 30 minutes. And that's insane for a wrestling show. You're paying for this.
I recognize that I'm a very simple wrestling fan. And when I say I'm a simple fan, I mean that it doesn't take much to get me into a match. Like, literally, you show me that that Briscoe's promo that they cut on Twitter, and I'm like, match is built, I'm in. Look, I don't. If you show me nothing else from Briscoe's FTR going into Death Before Dishonor,
and all FTR had to say was, "We want to do it again," and Briscoe's came through, and I want to see it. I was
like on the fence, like when FTR was like, "We want to do it again," and I'm like, "What's the justification?" And then the Briscoes cut this promo, and they're like, we want to do this again. It was the worst night of our, like, you all talk about this was a great match. No, that was the worst night of our careers. And I'm like, let's go, baby. Let's fucking go. So, like, I'm very easily sold. Doesn't take much to please me as a wrestling fan. All I need is, like, a little bit of hype in a match. Yeah. I'm good. But, like, this show, I am shocked. I'm not one of those.
I guess that kind of that makes it feel more like business as usual, because it's a shitty show. Like, of
no, but like, shitty show. Like I'm not even one of those stopwatch type guys. But after the show was over, I looked up and I was like when the main event was only 1:20, and I go, what? Okay, I have to go back and
what was the main event?
So they bait and switched us, right? That they had advertised Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre all night.
Winners, and then it's the match at the Castle show.
Right. And then Sheamus comes out and he basically says, we're not having the match tonight. So instead it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Butch. And then Drew squashes Butch. And that was it.
No, the Butch stuff is working, guys. That's what I keep being told.
And so, like, that was the main event, right? And so, main event, like, 1:20. And I go, like, was there a full match on this show? And so I went back. Literally, the entire show had 12 minutes and 30 seconds, 12 minutes, 31 seconds worth of actual wrestling on the show. Collectively, in 2 hours, 12 minutes, 31 seconds. Was all the wrestling you got in the show. And there wasn't stuff, like there was stuff I kind of liked in that, the show had the opener segment. Of course, it was like, I have seen this before. I've seen it. I've seen this this Roman Reigns with the Bloodline promo. I've seen this, that they come out to the ring. They stand there, and
not only have you seen this, you've heard this. They did. He did the same. Like they got a promo from 3 months ago and was like, "Here, do it again."
Yeah, and like to hype up a match with Brock Lesnar, and like I've seen all of this, and So I was like, Heyman's good. Like, there's no denying Heyman is great at what he does. But I thought I have absolutely seen this, and like the Lacey Evans heel turn was like weird. And
She never was a face to me.
And at the end of the day, it's like nobody tried here. I don't know what the show was, but normally I don't like to harp on episodes. Like, honestly, if a show was like fine, or at worst like okay, but like this was like exceptionally bad, and I don't know if there were just like distractions backstage. I don't know what happened with that main event. I'm curious, like detail wise, what happened with that main event. Why did you hype this main event all night?
I'm thinking, that what they say about these WWE shows is they're written on the same day, and that day was very busy. That day, you wake up in the morning and your name is ringing bells. You can't, like, it's hard to write a wrestling show when the world is coming for your neck, So he tried to put something together real quick, and he didn't put it together real quick.
But I don't know. That show was a nightmare. And I always watch shows. Every show I watch from the perspective of whether I'm watching a Japanese wrestling show, whether I'm watching an indie show, whether I'm watching WWE, doesn't matter. Any show I watch from the perspective of paying money for this in the crowd, right? And exactly. I like somebody spent money on this you're watching
on TV at home at the comfort of your couch, but there are people that are in
but I think
arena.
I can't ever stop thinking about the people in the arena. And at the end of that crazy show, I thought, like, look, obviously, especially a WWE show has to strike a balance between offering pro wrestling and offering angles to sell pro wrestling. I get that. But the thing is, there's nothing more crowd pleasing than the actual wrestling. Right. The fact is, those people, there's a reason why when you say tonight we're going to see this person versus this person, and that people pop, because at the end of the day, what the people still want to see is a match. And that is what they paid to come watch, no matter who they are. There's a reason that matches get pops when they announce them. So when I think about how little wrestling they got on that show,
it's unfortunate.
I'm just like, and look, I have to draw a comparison because it happened literally an hour later. And not even an hour later, immediately after, right? SmackDown ends, Rampage begins. I said you got 12 minutes and 31 seconds of wrestling from SmackDown this week. And like, Takeshita versus Eddie Kingston went 13 minutes.
They start the show. They say, hey, "Welcome to the show," and they ring the bell. They're already fighting when they ring.
Right.
When they start the show, they're in the ring fighting. That's what the fans want to see. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see Roman Reigns walk down for 17 fucking minutes until he finally. It was 17 minutes of the show, and then he finally said a word. What, dude?
No thanks. Yeah.
No, that show was like exceptionally bad. There are. Because like I've been getting enjoyment out of Raw lately. Like I'm not here to just like harp on WWE all the time. Like I've gotten enjoyment out of Raw recently. But at SmackDown I like usually catch on fast forward. I just happened to be home on a Friday night last night, and so I watched it.
So what's gonna happen with this grandpa? Is he getting out of here?
No.
Yes or no? You don't think so, Phil?
No. I think so.
You think so?
Because that report that came out when they were saying that we don't know what we can do without the leadership of Vince and
USA Today one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean there's two things here. They might really believe that, but Vince has done such a good job of insulating himself and making himself indispensable that he's kind of fooled them into believing that, whether it's true or not. And so I don't know, even if he is like they take away one of his titles, I don't feel like they're ever going to completely get him out of the company. It's his company.
It's hilarious. He's been selling for this many years that there's not just one person that's WWE, when the whole time he's been making it that it's him. He's like, no one person's WWE except for me, motherfuckers. This is mine.
I mean, that's the thing is they, the contingency plans in place are still McMahon's, right? So like that,
like even if he's out, there's still going to be a McMahon.
Yeah, even if it's not a McMahon, it's going to be a guy that's loyal to him.
Right.
So I don't feel like you're ever going to get him completely out of the company until he's like gone and in the ground, which of course not wishing that on the guy, but I just feel like he's going to be a part of the decision making for this company until he's gone. I really feel that way. I'd be surprised if that's not true.
Like, but I feel like at some point NBC and them are gonna start applying pressure, because this can't, like, the executives at NBC are getting emails they've been getting emails all day, all year at this point.
But the hard part,
what the fuck is this going on over here, you guys?
The hard part is that, as has been pointed out by a lot of people, USA Network,
he's part of like 20 different places at this point.
Like, USA Network needs WWE more than WWE needs USA Network. Like, the only reason USA Network floats right now, the reason that they're a top 5 network is Raw. If you remove Raw from the equation, you can keep NXT there. They don't top 5 anymore. And so it's NBC needs, and not NBC specific as a whole, as like Comcast as a whole company, but USA Network very much needs WWE. Fox, not necessarily. Fox, Fox spent a lot of money, and WWE does really well for them on Friday nights, but it's not Fox's top program. And so
they got sports.
Yeah, Fox has sports. Fox has original programming. They've got stuff that beats SmackDown hand over fist. Like they've got
their regular programs like are beating wrestling shows
now,
Wednesday nights and shit. Yeah,
SmackDown's a good value for them, of course. SmackDown is a great value for Fox because, hour for hour, SmackDown is cheaper than pretty much anything Fox puts on, and it runs 52 weeks a year. There are other shows they get, 26 episodes out of.
Right.
And so getting those 52 weeks is great if you're
original content every single week.
Original content every single week. That's really what pro wrestling offers anybody. That's why it's valuable to networks, because, you can keep our name in the headlines all year. That's great. Like TNT loves the fact that, or TBS now, but TBS loves the fact that every single week TBS gets to say we're a top 5 network, rather than these weeks out of the year or these weeks out of the year. That beats sports. That beats anything you put on.
Definitely.
And so there's absolute value to that. Now, from an advertising standpoint, it doesn't, because at the end of the day, those draw better ad numbers. So I feel like Fox could put pressure.
Yeah.
Does Fox want to put pressure? I don't know.
Who knows?
Look, this is a company that kind of knew of Roger Ailes' improprieties for a long time, and then
I was about to say this is Fox. They got a whole bunch of creeps that were.
I'm sure Weinstein was somewhere. Like I couldn't trust them to execute or anything. But
I don't know. I'm pretty cynical about it. I don't necessarily believe, even if Vince is less visible, I don't believe he's going anywhere.
Right.
I had to believe it to see it at this point. I mean, I had to see it to believe it. At the back.
I guess there is a piece of me that's like dreaming about it.
It's like, you can't get past this, Grandpa. There's no way that you can get past
but
it.
There's a piece of me that just is like, what is WWE like without Vince?
It's crazy.
And it sounds great. Like, just the idea of like,
he hasn't missed a work a day in fucking 40 years.
Because
even when he's off, he's not off. Like, he's never off.
Because my brain goes, okay, Vince is out, so that means Kevin Dunn goes with him. And that means we could kind of get a new vision for how the product is presented.
Life is different.
Goddamn camera cuts, fam.
Life is different without KD back there, not Kevin Durant.
and speaking of which, all right, side note. So I saw some dumbass tweet that said something to the effect of that the frequent camera cuts and shaky cams and shit are good for masking the fakeness of pro wrestling.
Get out of here.
And that we need it, right?
No, we don't.
This ain't the 80s, bro.
So, first off, did people realize, like, the people who are, like, all about defending that kind of shit, do they realize that that's a recent phenomenon, like in the grand scheme of pro wrestling. Like this isn't something that has been going on forever. Like the one production dude, I forget who it was, sorry, but he talked about how it was the Shield that introduced the kind of shaky cam because they wanted things to look chaotic when the Shield came in, and then it just so happened that hey, this kind of worked, so let's just leave it in there and have it all the time. But it was really when the Shield was doing those beat downs, those ambushes, they wanted it to look chaotic, so they did frequent camera cuts and shaky cams, and then it just stuck. But that's not something that, like, if you go back and watch anything from the Ruthless Aggression era, we didn't see that stuff there. We didn't see any of that stuff for a long time. The majority of John Cena's career didn't have any of that kind of stuff. So don't tell me that, like, I once put together a compilation of every single time because people keep talking about it like it's a fresh spot, but like every single time Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton did the whole
The
sequence, going from the Twist of Fate into the RKO, which people always say they're like, oh, it's an homage to the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble wasn't the first time they did that. They've been doing that since like 06. But my point there is that I put together a compilation of every time they did it. But then there's one point where you hit like the year 2017 where all of a sudden Orton hits it and you get a zoom in and a camera cut. And I'm like, but every time you saw it before then, it looked like just a clean wrestling move. Yeah. And then you start seeing zoom ins and camera cuts on the RKO right around like 2017. And did you have a problem with the fakeness of wrestling before that? Because if not, no, that's not a thing. That's not. This is very, very recent. This isn't something that has been around, especially at the heights of WWE's popularity. This wasn't stuff they were doing. This is all recent shit that for whatever reason they just got addicted to, and doing frequent camera cuts and shaky cameras and making the show look spastic and
awful.
And making me dizzy throughout the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's way too much.
Way too much. Hey, super chats though coming in. Mets fan for life says last shoe to drop for VKM is that secret love child, right? I mean, we did get a storyline out of that, so who knows?
Yeah. He's done some really nasty storylines. When you
not
really
a guy,
disgusting. I bet you saw the video floating around that from yesterday from the Vince McMahon DVD, but they put the music behind it to where like making it sound soft, but Stephanie talking about Vince presenting her with the storyline of him being the father of her child.
Disgusting.
And she said that was one of 2 times that she turned down a story. But I remember that was from the McMahon DVD, and she mentioned that Vince wanted to be the father of her baby on TV.
They put this out publicly, guys, on their own content. That's why I'm like, why would you guys be surprised?
They produced this and released this.
But like I said, they put like heartfelt music behind it, like lighthearted music. It was like lighthearted music just to be like, yeah, that's quirky, Vince.
This is not creepy at all.
Vince,
yeah. And then they were like, when she turned to dad, she was like, and then he presented Shane as the father, and
like that makes it better. Like what is wrong with this dude?
And Stephanie was just ultimately like, no, I'm not doing that.
But yeah.
So at least that's the one thing that like gives me, I guess, some bit of hope for Stephanie McMahon running things is like, maybe she at least has enough sense to say no.
And apparently her and her husband don't really like the camera cuts guy either, so...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter was gearing up to, he had built a regime, and then they gutted his whole regime and fired everybody. Yeah. So, he was prepared to have Road Dogg up there doing his thing on the main roster.
Thirstiest New Age Outlaw member in the world, all in Tony Khan's DM. Like, yo, bro, relax. Yo, we can see you.
but yeah, when you think about like Trish, and you think about how she was the biggest women's star at one point, and like even she was like being embarrassed on TV by this man.
Right.
And so it's like if you're doing that on the TV, like imagine what he's doing behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Like,
you had Trish walking like a fucking dog on the show. Like, who knows what
he tongued Trish Stratus in front of his wife, like
bro,
that.
Come on,
that
man.
Watching that whole sequence where he had her bark like a dog and then get undressed. It's embarrassing to watch.
Yeah,
it did not age well at all.
And
You did
they
that
know
on
that didn't age.
TV.
They absolutely know that didn't age well. Because remember when Linda was running for Senate, they pulled all that stuff from YouTube. Like if you
Sure they
posted
did.
anything that showed Vince McMahon being inappropriate on television, and it was just that. They weren't pulling nothing else from YouTube. They were like hunting down, like if you did a search for Vince and Candice Michelle, gone. All that stuff was wiped from the internet while Linda was running for Senate because they did not want anybody talking about Vince on screen, let alone off screen. They didn't want nobody talking about that stuff during Linda's campaign.
They're like, steroid trial is fine, but do not show me and Trish Stratus. Please do not show me and Trish Stratus.
Yeah. Ugh.
Nah, they were
guy.
hitting
You need
all
to
of
get
that.
your comeuppance. Something needs to happen at least. You gotta like go to jail or something. I don't know. It sounds like you're wild out here, bro. What the fuck?
And then Denise Salcedo reported this past week, or on Friday, she reported that she's been told that the Netflix documentary, which
Netflix bag.
was there's a lot of money put into, but that's been shelved. And that was really just going to be like a Vince Puff piece, like because I saw people who were like, "Nah, this is like the perfect time to have a Vince documentary. I want to know all the shit."
They're not going to talk about none of that. They're going to be talking about WrestleMania and all his victories. You know, not the shit.
Oof. Yeah, that quote from the source on the Denise thing was hilarious.
That shit.
yeah.
He said that shit's out of here.
Yeah.
Shit's out of here, bro. That's hilarious.
That
was gonna be a
dying.
bag though. Like that was gonna be another thing. Like people have been talking this week about the Pat McAfee interview and how it was a fuck piece and it helped Vince. It was just gonna be an extended version of that. Like just
because it was a Bill Simmons.
celebrating Vince. You know?
It was a Bill Simmons documentary, and it was really gonna focus on the
just like the Andre the Giant one he did.
Yeah, like it was gonna be a puff piece, and
with some of those Hogan quotes from that doc were didn't like them.
Yes, exactly.
So either way, that's been shelved. So this is where I feel like this is the first time I'm seeing any semblance of consequences for Vince, and so that's why I do have a little bit of hope here that something actually does happen. That. Yeah, I don't know. I have talked.
I think this is it. I think just everything that's happened with Cosby and Weinstein and all these. There's all these examples that have been said already. I don't know if he'll be able to get past it with how big Wall Street Journal's talking about.
That's how
it,
I feel too. Like
you know what I mean?
Harvey Weinstein was way more powerful than Vince, and that's where I feel like if you could get Harvey Weinstein out, I feel like
that guy.
Yeah,
and Harvey Weinstein out of a company called the Weinstein Company.
I'm saying,
I feel like
every time I try to pull up a movie from like the 90s or the 2000s, it says Weinstein fucking. This guy was dominating the fucking industry. So,
and that's where I do feel like I think we could see a world without. And you know what though? Look, I'm gonna put on my Silky Johnson hat for a moment. There is nothing that annoyed me more than the idea that when Vince stepped down, he would be hailed as a hero.
right.
So Vince going out in disgrace is like for everything that I've ever known about Vince and anybody who's ever worked for Vince. Like, of course, anybody who talks about Vince publicly is always going to say the same thing. Vince was great to me. Vince was all
I
that,
didn't
but,
experience any of that. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, but like people have their issues with Vince.
You could look up shoot interview compilations of people talking about Vince McMahon, and they be giving it up for sure.
Yeah. And so like the idea that Vince going out this way, going out disgracefully, means that like you don't get to celebrate Vince in that sense. Like Vince is going to be one of those names that there ain't gonna be a McMahon statue.
They're gonna have to erase you from all the footy like they do those other people.
Are you kidding me? People are still gonna try and celebrate him. There are trash people in this world,
but they're not gonna have like the Vince McMahon Memorial Battle Royal and shit like that.
Well, no, not on television, but no, there are trash people that people still.
Oh yeah, but we don't give a damn about them.
I mean,
this country still has statues for plenty of trash people up. What do you mean?
But like. Sure, but there's no like Joe Paterno statue anymore.
Right.
Like
right.
that's like that shit is gone.
Yeah, it's gonna be much different as than if we didn't hear. Like if we didn't hear this and they were just like, all right, Vince has had his time, blah blah blah. It would be like Vince McMahon Awards celebration every year. They'd have all the shit, but it's not gonna be like that.
No. Tom Anderson says, definitely not the real MySpace guy. Also, my gripe with indie shows is the inconsistencies of wrestlers selling moves. Your thoughts?
And I have
no selling pops people, and like at the end of the day, I feel like
there's a couple of things that go into it. A lot of times it's for that. It's because that's how wrestling works. If you watch a New Japan match, there's hella no selling. If you watch the big time independent wrestling matches, half the matches like forearms back and forth, because that's just how fucking pro wrestling works. And then also at independent wrestling, a lot of these guys are still working their way up to being, who you want to see on TV. They're not on TV. They're working to be. They're still early in their years. There's still all these things that they need to learn. But most of it comes down to that's just the style. People just be no selling.
Yeah. Zio Dude says, well, I remember you talking about AEW doing more Fatal 4-Ways with women. I always thought a good match would be Rosa versus Riho versus Britt versus Shida. I agree. Be a good one. Let's see. Leonard Aarons III says, Horny Dog Vince was quite literally a thing on WWE TV in the early 2000s. If what they put out recently about him is even remotely shocking or surprising, congrats on not reading the room right. Oh, I agree. I think that, again, look at the McMahon DVD. Go look back at that stuff and remove the lighthearted presentation of it and just listen to what's being said. Like where Hunter with a smile is being like, Vince is a guy who fancies himself as being irresistible to women. And Vince thinks that every woman on earth wants him, right? Like that was the thing Hunter said in that DVD. Yeah. But he's saying that with a smile, like, oh, that's just our Vince. And because I said the same thing about Ric Flair late last year, right? That like Ric Flair, all them stories they used to tell it with a smile and be like, that's our Rick. But then if you just change the presentation of it and tell the exact same story, which is what Dark Side of the Ring did. Told a story we had heard a million times about the plane ride from hell, but just told it from the perspective of, say, somebody on the receiving end of it. Then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that sucks. And like, just take everything that was said about Vince back then, but take it from the perspective now of somebody on the receiving end of it. Hunter says in that DVD, Vince is a man who fancies himself as being irresistible to women. That's an exact quote. Now take that and put that on the present that from the perspective of a woman who now has Vince thinking that he is irresistible, that this woman wants me. I know she does because I'm Vince McMahon, right? Like, now that shit sounds disgusting. Again, that stuff was out there. It was out there the whole time.
This is actually super interesting too, because you brought up Dark Side of the Ring. They said very recently we read that Vice is not with the Dark Side of the Ring guys, and they're going to start working with the WWE. How thirsty right now do you think the Dark Side of the Ring guys are for Vince? Like, can we do a 25-hour Vince McMahon special right now? But they don't have a platform for it. But it's crazy to see that Vice got in there because they had to know it was coming, I think. Like WWE to be like, we have to get those guys out of there before they ever do this story on Vince, because he's going to get out of here. I mean, Wall Street Journal got the jump on him, so it's a wrap.
I mean, I thought they've already done a few things that made Vince look.
Pretty much all the stories, Snuka, Benoit, Owen, like all of them are connected to
Vince. And yet nothing makes Vince look. None of them did.
It's bad. It's so bad.
Jake Salazar says, Vince throwing around $12 million like that, and I'm over here making the Mackay Pfeiffer Sig meme when I got to spend $12 at Taco Bell.
That's 5 nacho taco grande meals, I think. Throwback.
Orion Ben 666 says Miyu versus Rosa, Pac versus Shota Speedball, and Shota Speedball versus Shota Speedball, Speedball versus Angels. Diana, what?
No,
there's Shota there.
Will just forgot to put a comma before.
Comma, yeah. I'm like, who the hell is Shota Speedball? But I'm like, Speedball versus Angels, Diana versus Mia, FTR versus Briscoes 2, Gresh going to the dark side, and unfortunately, Vince eclipsed that.
Yeah, Vince was like,
No, there
all
were some
those great
great
matches and
matches.
moves, we're going to talk about this. But yeah, no, there's a lot of shit that's still great that's happening besides the.
Hey, yeah, I want to talk about Jonathan Gresham turned heel last night, and immediately we're getting Jonathan Gresham versus Lee Moriarty for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I liked it. I think Jonathan Gresham needs a mouthpiece. I don't think he needs a mouthpiece, but I think it enhances him to have a mouthpiece. So working with Tully Blanchard, I think it's going to be dope.
Yeah, I kind of want Brian Cage out that group now.
Yeah, peace out, Brian Cage. Why are you running this
Wow.
group? But yeah,
This
that's
thing was
gonna-
made for Brian.
That thing is it's leading.
I mean,
to,
no. Now that like you got world champion Jonathan
Yeah,
Gresham in this
we're
group
good.
now. Like this is another case of this is Team Taz all over again, right? We're like, okay, Brian Cage in this group is cool, but now we got Ricky Starks and we got Powerhouse Hobbs.
Hobbs,
What the
we're
fuck we need Brian Cage for? And now like the idea at first of the Tully Blanchard group forming, and it's like, okay, you got Khan in here, but. You know, I can see where Brian Cage fits, but now, no, I don't need Brian Cage anymore. We got Jonathan Gresham here, world champion.
Jonathan Gresham is in AEW. That's all I care about. Next week on Rampage, Jonathan Gresham versus Lee Moriarty for the Ring of Honor World title.
right.
I can't believe I'm saying that out of my lips at an AEW show. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to cry while watching.
Those Ring of Honor graphics look dope, by the way.
They do.
yeah.
Yes.
They-
I love the Ring of Honor
Like,
presentation.
ultimately, I appreciate the idea behind the current logo, where like, because all them logo kind of samples kind of came out, and people were like, oh, what is this? But then the one where they just took the most famous Ring of Honor logo that was italicized and unitalicized it.
That's it.
and that's the logo.
Remix.
Yep. Just take what we know, the belt, the logo that's literally on the belt Jonathan Gresham is carrying around, the belts that the FTR is carrying around, unitalicized.
The logo that, if you guys didn't know, nice piece of trivia, his name is Joaquin Wilde. He's a part of Legado del Fantasma. He's a wrestler. He used to be Zema Ion. He designed that logo when he was like 12 years old. He was on a message board. Message boards like everybody else. ROH was just starting, trying to get started, and he designed the logo as a kid, and he's now in WWE as a pro wrestler. But that's a great story.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's the
still
other thing
here.
about
They're back in the game.
That's the other thing about those message boards. We were sharing hella illegal shit on those message boards of like, hey, here's a rip of the Ring of Honor DVDs. We got them right here.
I mean, the second biggest wrestling promotions, the head of the promotion was out there with y'all doing all this shit. Tony Khan was in the message board streets doing all this same shit too. So
Yeah.
I mean, look,
AEW is built off that pretty much.
I mean, in these days, like, I have no problem paying for pretty much anything. I haven't like stolen wrestling in a really long time, because
Me neither.
because at the end of the day, I want to support every promotion that I can get my hands on, and
I'm poor, you guys. Send me the links, brother.
Oh, man.
I'll review your show as long as you let me watch it for free. It's expensive. Imagine if I paid for every single wrestling show. I'd be poor. I wouldn't have any money. Exactly like I am now. I guess it still works out. Damn it.
Yeah. Pay for your wrestling, guys.
Yes, pay for wrestling. That's it.
look, I mean, I know a lot of people who watch the
I
Summer
have
Sun
streaming
Princess.
services, but it's hard to like get like extra, you know.
I know a lot of people who watch Summer Sun Princess though by creating a new email, and because Wrestle Universe does the free 2-week trial, right? So like every time a show comes up that people want to watch, and they just like, oh, I'm gonna just get a new email and just sign up for another account and get my 2-week free trial.
Scamming.
PPP loans all over again. Look at y'all. Y'all know the secrets.
Ferthausen says, I've said may watch WWE once VKM gone from WWE, but the longer he stays, the longer the stain that I can't watch.
They're not getting
Wait, what?
They're not doing anything to get anybody back with this SummerSlam lineup. Ooh,
It's all nothing like fresh. I can't believe you're selling a stadium on.
Well, y'all can say that. Apparently, I can't say anything is trash now because
So-
people will be on your.
All
boys'
right,
neck.
let's talk
for
about
real,
that.
Will, how do you sell a stadium with this though? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's talk about this. So, Philip Lindsey, you said this past week that you thought Money in the Bank was trash. Now, this is a show that I can't speak to one way or the other. Because
I forgot that happened. These weeks are so long, dude. Oh my god, that was.
I saw one match from that show. I liked the match that I saw. I guess I saw technically 2 matches because the one match I saw, I went out of my way to watch Usos versus Street Profits because people were like, "This is one of the best tag team matches of the year." I think that I think that if your list was top like.
As long as the universe we're talking about is only the WWE universe.
I mean, I'll say it was a top 10 match this year, but it's WWE. But like a top 10 tag match this year is what I'm saying. Top 10 tag match. But
in WWE, make sure to say that because.
But it's like bottom of the 10. I'll say it was like 9 or 10. Because I could think of a lot of tag matches I like from all across the world.
The front of it dragged, man. At first, I was not.
It had a great.
They didn't build it. It just dragged, and then they got to it. It didn't. They didn't build to it, and then
it did go from like first to fifth gear very quickly.
Exactly.
And it didn't necessarily build there. But I like the match. And I didn't like the finish. I didn't like the finish at all. But now that I know they're doing the rematch, I get why I didn't have a definitive finish. Yeah.
I mean, it was apparent they were doing a rematch right after to me.
Why? Yeah. Why are you building a match? Why are you building to your biggest show with a fucking rematch?
So that said, that was the only match I saw. And then I also saw Liv's cash in. So that's why I'm saying I saw 2 matches. But for the most part, like, I don't know. I didn't see a reason because I was out Sunday night. What the hell was I doing Sunday night? I don't know. I was with some friends, but I can't remember which friends I was with.
You're having a good time enjoying yourself touching grass.
Yes, I was. I might have literally been touching grass. But either way, Phil Lindsey tweeted out, "Show is trash," and
people did not like it.
and what's weird to me, about that reaction that you got to it was that you didn't say the wrestlers on the show are trash. You didn't say that people who like the show are trash. You didn't say that if you like this show, you're a moron. You didn't say like none of that stuff because you didn't feel that way. I know you. That's not how you operate, right?
No, not at all.
You said that you didn't like the show. And people came at you as if you were attacking them personally.
Because you're an AEW shill. Bleacher Report shill for AEW is what they say.
So I'm just gonna say this. We're gonna clear this out and make this my PSA. Listen, y'all gotta stop caring so much about what people think about what you like. It doesn't matter. Y'all heard me when the Forbidden Door stuff was happening, all the criticism came on. I came on this show and I said, look, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna enjoy this show because I want it. And so I'm like, yo, if you enjoyed Money in the Bank, why do you care about my 5-sentence tweet of me saying that this pay-per-view was trash? And I didn't go into anything specifics. It was a very pointed.
Was it 5 sentences? It was 5 words.
Yeah, it was 5-word sentence. Sorry. 5-word sentence of me saying, look, this was trash. And I think people just saw trash, and I've seen other people say this is a harsh criticism. No, it wasn't. Look, a harsh criticism is me going, nothing on this show was good. Everything about it was bad. Every wrestler on the show was bad. That's not how I felt. Me saying it's trash with LOL after it is not a harsh criticism. It's not a criticism at all. It's just a tweet. Like, what's wrong with y'all? So, look. It's not even that I saw a part of it that I was like, this isn't good, or hey, this cash in wasn't good. Even though I have thoughts on the cash in, I'll leave those on the cutting room floor because I don't think people will like what I have to say about it.
I'll say exactly what I said last week, but I hope it works out because I like
it works out
Morgan, but I just. Let's talk about it. Look, here's the thing about Money in the Bank cash-ins. I said this last week. I said that Money in the Bank cash-ins, less of them have worked out than have actually worked out. And that I've yet to see a babyface come off successfully from a cash-in, especially one where, in this case, they just rolled the person up, where they didn't look decisively victorious. I said last year I had concerns the moment it happened, and I got criticism from people who were saying I was being cynical because I'm always going to be cynical about Money in the Bank. I don't like the concept because, again, I'm a very simple wrestling fan. Give me a match. Give me a reason to care about the match. Give me a match. Give me a victory. That's all I need. And in this case, Money in the Bank like cuts out all of that. And so last year when Nikki ASH won Money in the Bank, and I went, you're cheat coding it here. Like, you didn't do the work to get her there. You just deciding one day she's Money in the Bank. And now I thought, but maybe you'll take some time and get her there now that she has it. And then, nope, the very next night, she cashes in Money in the Bank. She wins the title. And then they bailed after a month. And I see too many parallels with Liv Morgan. I think the difference here is that at least Liv Morgan has a lot more online support than Nikki ASH does. She has a big fan base that may help prevent her from prevent that from happening to her. But at the same time, I still feel like maybe, but I still feel like the victory feels exactly the same. It feels like you didn't necessarily do a whole lot of the work to get her there. You didn't build her up as a credible challenger. I feel like they did more to build her up as a credible challenger back in like January when she was feuding with Becky Lynch than they did coming into this. So it's like you didn't do much to build her up as a credible challenger, but she won the Money in the Bank. And I had that same thought when I saw the tweet come up that she's Money in the Bank winner. I was like, okay, now at least take your time. And now that she's got the Money in the Bank,
got time for that.
Build her to a championship victory.
Time, bro. We got an hour. I need to.
And then I see the tweet, and then it pops up on my phone like an hour later. I think it was from our group chat. It pops up in like an hour later. I get another message that's like, Liv Morgan is champ. And all right, so this is what we're doing here. And then I was like, well, let's see how the cash-in looked. Because, you know, it's all the difference between did you just pin somebody who was already down, or was it like a decisive victory? Was there at least a little bit of a match? What happened? So I go back and watch it, and like, no, she's like locked in an ankle lock, and it wins with a roll-up where Ronda's shoulders like were barely down. And I just thought, I would love for this to work out because I want to see Liv Morgan succeed. And
I didn't believe 1 second of that cash in. Even
after
after a match, Ronda Rousey would still beat up Liv Morgan.
It didn't look convincing at all. No. And that was my problem with it. It didn't look believable. It didn't look like a.
They should have had Ronda in like a street fight or something crazy, not just like in a match with Natty that she dominated.
I just want to see people have. Because it's not just Money in the Bank. I don't like anybody's first win being some bullshit. Because, like, I still have a problem with Kevin Owens' first title win being handed the world title by... Because the reason is that I feel like definitive first-time world title wins should be moments you can watch again and again and again. Like, you know, you can watch Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels again. They can show that moment of
everything like that.
You can show that time and time again. You can show Brock Lesnar beating The Rock again for the first time because that is a moment that matters, right? You can even show Becky Lynch's first win when she won the what was it? Was that a six-pack challenge at it was an elimination match at Backlash 2016 where she won her first title. You can show that again because that's her build up to that moment, right? But like I feel like anytime, like you can't show Kevin Owens' first win to anybody because the fuck did he do? He did he didn't even I have a problem with that because like
the clip's more about Triple H. If you show
the clip is Hunter Hunter hits the pedigree and then Kevin looks at him like, okay, Dad, I'm gonna now take the pin, and like
it never led to anything. There was no storyline afterwards.
Right? It's like you could have at least like had him hit a swanton or something just while he's on the ground, just so future replays show Kevin Owens getting but now you can't show that. You can't show anything about Kevin Owens' first victory. And same thing here where like you gonna show her rolling up Ronda Rousey after being in an ankle lock for a minute? Like, what is that?
So two things happens here. So you can't tell me that Ronda legitimized women's wrestling because she can legitimately beat these women up, and then also tell me that once Liv gets out of an ankle bar, she's just going to roll her up because her knee was hurt, and she's not going to be able to get out of that. That's just going to be
on.
that doesn't feel believable to me.
These
That
things
just
don't
doesn't
add
make
up.
sense. And I hate having to nitpick things like this, but that's what happens when you give us a cash in that feels like it was half baked. And listen, we can get into it because that women's Money in the Bank match wasn't good. It wasn't good. Sorry, it was not a good match. And so to the match after that. Hey, I love Natty. I think Natty's great. That match with Ronda, that shit was boring. Sorry. It was. The tag match, it was good. It was great. But it wasn't enough to save that card. Sure could use a world title match on this card, but Roman's away doing whatever Roman's doing because you decided to put both titles on him. Hey, listen, I'm here to double down. That shit was ass, bro. If you don't like that I said that, I don't care. Come at me, whatever. I will mute and block your dumb ass. It was bad. I'm sorry if that makes you mad that I said it was bad. It was bad. It was not a good pay-per-view.
What's weird, though, is that it's not even like you're espousing like a what I would feel is a controversial opinion. I guess like it just depends on the circles you operate in, right? Because like if I go to Cage Match right now, Money in the Bank is the lowest rated pay-per-view this year, I believe, from WWE. And like,
all right, but you know, if I say it, how dare you? It's like, what? It wasn't good. I'm sorry. And I mean, I've enjoyed other pay-per-views this year. Hell in a Cell was good. First night of WrestleMania, good. This pay-per-view, it wasn't it, bro. Sorry. That men's Money in the Bank match, hey, it sure would have been nice to see the people that qualify for that match get their due instead of you just throwing a guy in last minute and then having him win. What was
You
the
can't
point of you
keep
setting
doing
up
that in this
storyline?
Money in the Bank matches.
What
You can't keep
is the
doing
point?
this.
What was the point of you setting up storylines?
oh wait, I'm
for
sorry.
Sammy
Elimination Chamber is the lowest. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I was wrong. I thought Money in the Bank was, but I forgot that there was one I was at this year.
Sorry.
Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber are the two lowest rated shows of this year. But then it goes Elimination Chamber at the bottom, then Royal Rumble, and then is it Money in the Bank next? I'm just scrolling as far as pay-per-views are concerned. But I think those are the three lowest rated. Like I don't feel like you were saying anything like controversial there.
So look, what was the point of you setting up
Yeah, it is.
storyline
Those are the three.
for Sammy and storyline reasons why it would make sense for Rollins to win? I know I made jokes and was like, hey, Rollins would be cool, you know, but Rollins didn't need to win that match for me to be satisfied with it. I just wanted to make sense. Throwing Theory in there last minute is exactly what you did with the fucking Rumble. You just put Brock in last minute and Brock won.
That.
And this is what I mean.
That.
You want me to be excited for stuff when you give
Lazy.
me no reason to invest in this. You give me no reason to want to watch your weekly shows. And I saw people going, oh, well, you just hate watch Fam. Do you see me tweeting during Raw? I don't watch Raw. I don't like it. Do you see me tweeting during SmackDown? No, I don't watch SmackDown. It's ass, bro. I don't watch it. I'm sorry. Like, I hate this idea
Okay,
that...
yeah,
but
go
before
ahead.
you go ahead, I hate this
Yeah.
idea that if you don't like something, then that means that you cannot say that anywhere because someone somewhere liked it, and they might see that, so they might
Let
be
people
upset.
enjoy things, bro.
You can enjoy things. There are a ton of people that I like on Twitter that I follow, and I don't like none of their opinions. I scroll right past them all the time. I don't say to them, you can't say that because I like this. Who fucking cares, bro? Just like what you like, man. Hate what you like. It don't matter, bro. It don't matter. It's wrestling.
So that's where I was gonna go with this. Look, we got to talk about this idea of bias in wrestling media. Here's the thing, guys. Are you ready for it? This is pro fucking wrestling. Who fucking cares about unbiasedness in pro wrestling? Like, at the end of the day, this is all subjective entertainment. And you can like what you like. You can dislike what you like.
At the end of the day, it's fake fighting. People
Like,
fighting
it's all
in
entertainment.
underwear.
Like I think it's weird, and I think it's weird all around. Not just in pro wrestling. I think it's weird when somebody says, "I think that you should be fair to Marvel and give the same." Like, if you're a Marvel fan, and it's like, "But do you give the same opportunity to DC?" Maybe. I don't fucking like DC movies. I'm not required to because that's not my flavor. That's not my taste. There is no requirement to be anything except true to your taste, and that's it. And that's all I mean. Like, if somebody, and I've gotten it too. I've gotten people who are like, well, look at him. He's ultra biased because he likes AEW. Sure, AEW books to my taste. I get that, right? If AEW stopped booking in my taste, I would say it. I would absolutely say it. Yeah. And there are times where it's not to my taste, and I've called out and I've said, nah, this wasn't for me, right? But for the most part, I'm an in-ring dude. I love wrestling that takes place in the ring.
Put the matches on, bro. I'm gonna watch
it.
Yeah,
that's what I want. That's what I want. Literally, look, I only ever watch the Tokyo Joshi Pro, the big events, and I don't follow nothing else that comes out of that company. But you know what? I don't have to, because I'm an in-ring guy. You can literally just give me matches with wrestlers I like, and I'm happy. And so I'm a simple wrestling fan. That's all it takes for me. And that's what I appreciate. I wasn't always that way. And people will call out. They're like, well, why did you like this back in the day? Because I used to have time for that kind of shit, and now I don't. Literally now, I really just want to watch great wrestling and great matches, and that's all I need. And so...
fact, pro wrestling.
So the things have changed for me. But the point I'm making here is, look, man, this isn't politics. This isn't stuff where, like, this is anything that affects the world.
No.
If somebody is, I guess, biased in their coverage, it is because they're literally, specifically in their reviews and what they talk about and what they like. It's because it caters to their fucking taste.
Exactly.
That they're not required to like.
This isn't politics. We don't have to we have to talk about both sides also. We don't have to. Not in this. This is pro wrestling. It's built off the back of fucking soap operas. Like, it's not
like this. Like, different. I get people want the dichotomy everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the dichotomy exists everywhere, right? And so, like, if you are, obviously there's PlayStation, Xbox, right? People just want to argue all of this, right? And then there's Apple and Android, and people just want to argue it. Everywhere you look, there's going to be this dichotomy created. But at the end of the day, Reg don't have to give a fuck about anything Android does. Not a thing. Okay. Like, but people will do it, right? If you said, like, hey, I love this new feature the iPhone got, somebody will jump in your mentions and be like, well, how come you didn't say it when Android did it? Mm-hmm. Because you don't have a fucking Android phone.
I don't know when they did this. I'm talking about my experience.
You don't fucking care.
We'll speak to the bias thing, because I saw the bias thing quite a bit that night. Listen, there are a lot of things that I like about WWE. I just personally am not enjoying their product at the moment. Boy, when NXT was hot, I would say all the time, it was the best wrestling show on television. These things are cyclical. Hey, I'll come back around and I'll enjoy other things that WWE has done. Again, I enjoyed other things they've done this year. But the problem I have with this bias thing is there are people that are like, oh, you're biased because you didn't like Hell in a Cell. But they're never anywhere when I say...
You like Hell in a Cell, by the way.
But yeah, but they're never anywhere when I say something positive about them, and that's why I'm like, it's not that you want me to be unbiased, it's that you want me to validate your opinion. Right. You don't want objectivity. A lot of you guys don't even know what the fuck objectivity is. You just want me to agree with you. You just want me to say what you want to hear. That's it. It ain't that you don't like Meltzer because he likes AEW more than you do. No, you want him to agree with you. You want his 5-star ratings to agree with your taste. Yeah. Nobody has to agree with you. Look, you can go and start a blog and write your reviews of what you like and what you think. You can go and record a podcast of the things that you like. Nobody sits on their whatever laptop or whatever and watches us every morning to hear us regurgitate their opinions back to them. If that's what you want, I'm sorry, that's not what we're going to do. If you come to my Twitter and you think that's what I'm going to do on my Twitter, I'm not going to do that for you. If you like Money in the Bank, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I did not. That's okay.
And he didn't attack your opinion. Like that's
I didn't go around looking for anybody that's like, I love this pay-per-view. And was like, what are you kidding? This pay-per-view is trash. You're a moron. Right. No, I don't care if you liked it. And matter of fact, I think the funniest thing about this is that me just saying that it was trash, I don't think people understand my tone a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Because I thought the LOL told your tone, by the way.
Right.
Exactly. And
that's this is trash LOL.
Yeah.
But like, exactly. Here's the thing. More than that, all of that. So this is where I'm finding a really big problem with the community and why I tweeted the next morning where, like, you're not required to like anything. You're not required to dislike anything. I think, Phil said he didn't like the pay-per-view. And so I won't go as far as to say that I don't care about people's opinions, because I do care about people's opinions. Do I care about people's opinions of my opinions? No. But no. If I say I don't like this show, and then somebody says, well, I did like this show, I could be like, well, let's talk about it. Like I said, I do care about your opinion. But when you say, well, I think your opinion sucks, that I don't care about. But that's the difference. I care about, because I want to have conversations. I think that I think it's really important that we do have conversations about these things. And if somebody says, I really thought Money in the Bank was a very well put together show, I think it's one of the best shows WWE's put on. Cool, let's talk about it. Let's have this conversation here.
Absolutely.
But then when it turns into, well, you're just a shill, and that's the reason that you didn't like this show, get the fuck out of here with that.
We're gonna do an entire TED talk on what a shill is, because a lot of people online do not know what the fuck a shill is, and I need y'all to shut up.
Yes.
So listen again. It's not me saying I don't care about your opinion. I don't care about the fact that you can get on Twitter and just throw out an opinion. Anybody can do that. If we're having a conversation and you're sharing your opinion with me, of course I value your opinion, because we're having a conversation. People tweeting things is not a conversation. It's just a tweet. And so it just doesn't matter as much as people think it does. People tweeting things just doesn't matter. And the other thing, before I get out of this ranting mode, I said something the next day, because I said, look, tribalism is becoming a problem because it's bringing out the worst in people.
Oh my God.
And I said people need to relax because this is unhealthy. And I saw people try to flip that on me and go, I think you're part of the problem. Listen. When I say that it's bringing out the worst in people, what I mean is attacking people for opinions, attacking people for what their preferences are. Listen,
and you've never done that, by the way.
No. Yeah, and so if you're just on one side of the fence that you prefer AEW and you make jokes, and because look, that part of it is hilarious to me. Like making jokes about what they're doing over there based on what they're doing over here. Cool. All of that is fair game. But once you start making it personal and you start going around screenshotting people's tweets and trying to dunk on them, I think that's goofy. And I think that's highly unnecessary. Why are we doing that? It just doesn't lead to anything productive.
Stop attacking people. That's it. To me, it's stop going after people. It's one thing to go after, I don't know, the entertainment itself. That stuff is funny. Dunk on it, whatever. But once you start going after other people, that to me is whack. We got to read some other.
It depends on what that person is doing, of course. Yeah. But that's why I'm not gonna sit here and do the hey guys, be nicer to everybody, because everybody's good people. In reality, people suck. I'm sorry, but everybody isn't a good person. But that doesn't mean you got to search people out that you disagree with just to be a jerk.
Right. Back on the Vince topic, Max says, hopefully someone can talk Vince into retirement, because the way his stock ownership is set up, they aren't going to be able to force him out. Of course.
I thought that was he was doing like Kevin Hart, the way my bank account is set up.
He intentionally set it up that way to where he couldn't be ousted. Right. We knew that. Let's see. I love me some Sova says 13 minutes of wrestling on a 2-hour show. Yeah. Andrea says there is zero doubt this is the end, even if it feels like the beginning, and it's not.
Yeah,
it's
agreed.
Shout out
to Andrea. Close. Yeah, shout out to Andrea.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a whole bunch more that I wasn't able to. I'm still scrolling through them.
There's a lot. They
came in.
Sorry if you tuned in for me cursing and ranting at people, but I hate people. I honestly do. I hate people.
Jake Salazar says Sir William Gareth is but a dumb bumbaclot.
We don't bumbaclot.
I mean, look, man, if that's what you spend your whole day doing,
right?
Let's see. Marcus says they can do a whole season about Vince on Dark Side of the Ring.
I think they have, honestly. Most of the stories are about Vince McMahon.
Anime Otaku 2 says, just got my reminder to block Disco on Twitter. He's blaming fake outrage cancel culture for VKM being in the news.
Seen a couple of people
you know what's
saying
funny?
that, yeah.
I have a tweet in my drafts, and then I decided not to, but...
don't engage, dude.
No, so this was it. So Disco had originally tweeted, he was like, he said, I'm going to have some thoughts on all of this, and it's going to be the only correct
Nobody
one.
wants them.
And I quote tweeted, and I said, let me save you 5 minutes of your time. He's going to blame... and I can't believe I was right. This is the first I'm hearing about this. I said, look, this is what he's going to do. He's going to blame cancel culture, and he's going to then say something to the effect, and tell me if this is what he did here, but something to the effect of anybody who accepted millions of dollars is no victim, something along those lines. And
Yuck.
That's what Disco's going to do because he sucks. Van Twinblade said, on indie and no selling, 80% of Team Ambition are in training, and they are a good percentage of the Glory Pro roster. That's why it's indie and not pro.
Yeah, we were actually standing next to Team Ambition at
We were.
the Warrior Show. So
Hey, so shout out to, I always said I remember everybody who's ever interacted with my podcast. Shout out Carrie, who I met back for the first time in 2016, but I've known of and known adjacent to podcasts I've hosted for a really long time. Shout out Carrie. She says, who in the wrestling world knows or can talk to Ronan Farrow? Dude made a book and podcast about how he helped take down Harvey Weinstein. The 20 novels Ronan will be able to write about Vince. Yes, please.
Thanks, Gary.
And let's see what else we got. Still going through them. Let's see. We got another one from hey, what's that over there? It says, I think Liv is going to end up like Nikki ASH. I hope not, man. Like, I really want to see that. I don't want to see that at all.
Too.
Nikki as hell.
I feel like Nikki as hell. I feel bad for Nikki though, because I don't think that gimmick change was bad, and I do think it's a good character that could have worked, but they just didn't put the development into it to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Jay. Says, I'm so glad I have never been on social media. Phil could say he thinks vanilla milkshakes are trash, and I'd continue to sip my vanilla milkshake unfazed. It's just his opinion. It's okay to have different tastes. Kudos to you all for dealing with it.
Appreciate you, man. Enjoy your vanilla milkshakes, man.
Yeah, no, vanilla milkshakes are great, though. Phil, do you not like vanilla milkshakes?
Nah, I don't have no problem with vanilla.
Nah.
I don't have no problem.
No, because I will tell you, I got beef with Wendy's right now because y'all got rid of the vanilla frosty
For the strawberry one.
For the strawberry.
You know,
Strawberry frosty ain't better than vanilla. Now I get it that you only have the 2 dispensers, so obviously to get a new flavor, you got to get rid of one.
You got to mix it into the vanilla.
Yeah, you got to mix it into the vanilla. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
but no,
listen,
don't touch my vanilla frosty.
Why do people think that if you espouse an opinion that is an affront to my opinion? It's not. It's not. It's not like I'm coming to your house and going, turn that WWE shit off. That's garbage. Like, no,
watch
enjoy
it.
Enjoy
you
what
have
you
fun
do.
watching it. Have fun. Continue to have fun.
Hey man, if my tweets bother you that much, mute your boy. It don't matter, man. It ain't gonna hurt me.
Leonard says, WWE routinely insults the intelligence of its audience. The last cash-in they actually got right on the women's side was Carmella, oddly enough. Yeah, but they had James Ellsworth win it to start.
False. I feel like the Bayley cash-in was dope. But then again, that's just my opinion.
I thought it was, what was weird about that cash-in to me? So I felt like that cash-in was like a great redemption for Bayley because it felt like Bayley fell off for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden she cashed in, she's women's champion. And I thought, all right, we're here again. We're here. I'm ready for Bayley. And it felt like she was kind of getting a bit of an edge, but she hadn't quite turned heel yet. And then, and it felt like the heel turn wasn't even like in the plans when she won the Money in the Bank because she was just winning like decisively. And then they turned her, and I feel like they abandoned what the Money in the Bank accomplished for her.
Well, that's because they have fumbled babyface Bayley at every turn on the main roster.
Yes.
They just
Shout out to Bailey. Hey, we want some Bailey.
Yeah, I miss Bailey. Get Bailey back on TV as soon as possible.
It might be soon. Say RH says, I will never like the beat the champion in a match to get a rematch for the title.
Hate it.
Rosa didn't have to be beaten, but we get Miyu on Dynamite. I didn't think they were going to do it. I thought that was like a red herring. I was like, all right, this is just a cool way to add some stakes to Rosa having a match in Tokyo Joshi Pro, returning to Tokyo Joshi Pro without... I guess my thought was that they wanted to add some stakes to the match, but also they couldn't just like justify giving somebody a title shot who hadn't earned it. And so I was like, all right, but we know Thunder Rosa is going to win here. Mm-hmm. And then she fucking didn't.
You were sleeping on Miyu.
Yeah, I was.
I don't normally like that, but that's if it's in the same promotion. Like those matches like WWE does, where if you beat the champion on SmackDown, then you get a title match on the pay-per-view. I don't really care for that. But in this sense, I like it because most AEW fans aren't going to see that match. They're only going to see the rematch.
Agreed.
I take it. So this is where, watch this. Hey, Philip Lindsey, I disagree with you. I think that I like that both AEW and WWE have added an official stance to that.
Hate it. It's my least favorite thing ever.
I appreciate that now we have the
championship challenge matches.
The championship contenders match.
That just means I'm going to watch. Don't tell me I'm going to watch a match more than once. Don't tell me that ever.
I mean, it's possible that you watch it more than once.
Unless it's Bryan Danielson and fucking Kenny Omega. But if you're pitching me fucking Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan,
but the idea that because I think logically, if in a non-title scenario you do beat a champion, you logically should be able to prove yourself for the championship. I think that makes sense to me. That makes perfect sense. I think that I
just don't want them to say it out loud. That's pretty much it.
I think if you were
this is a blah 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 match. Shut up. Just do the match, and then they say I won, and I want another rematch for the title. You don't have to be like, this is a championship contenders match. Shut up.
No, I actually like that both WWE and AEW have added some because they both have different names for them though. Mm-hmm. But they both have named the concept and made it official. I like it.
One thing I don't like that AEW did, since we're AEW shows, I'll say something I don't like. I don't like that what did they name that Battle Royal last week?
The Royal Rampage?
I don't like that they named it that. It's too close to the Royal Rumble.
I mean, I thought they very intentionally did that, but
I don't want them to intentionally do that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't really agree with Will on Money in the Bank. I think it still works as a concept, and I think it still can work as a babyface thing. But again,
wait, you don't agree with me? We had a problem, Phil.
No, we of course got a problem. I ain't watched Stranger Things, so we got a problem. I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I'm glad we brought this up, Philip. You gotta watch Stranger Things. Look, Phil, here's the thing. And of course, people pointed out in the chat that my catchphrase is "Here's the thing."
Here's the thing.
I have two catchphrases. It's "Here's the thing" and "I'll say this."
I'll say this.
Although I have a dumb dad joke that I do with my kids, where I'll say this, and then they get pit. Like my daughter, face palms every time, and she, because she falls for it every time.
Well, I told my favorite Will Washingtonism is "I know." That's pretty classic. We always say, "I know" when you know.
I saw that one in the chat too. That was okay. Here's the thing. So Reg I can get, having not seen Stranger Things, mainly because Reg is a geek, but not
pro wrestling.
Yeah, but for the most part, Reg doesn't really fall along the geeky lines that Phil and I do in terms of our taste. But Phil and I tend to really enjoy a lot of the same geeky type shit. We're both Star Wars dudes. Mm-hmm. We're both especially into comic book movies and comic books in general, comic book characters. We like that kind of stuff, right? And somehow, some way, though, there's this disconnect. And I don't know. So I have to ask, what is it specifically about Stranger Things that does not appeal to you?
I don't think it's that it hasn't appealed to me. I just have never watched it. I've just never seen an episode of it.
So watch it. Go fucking do it.
He's just like, I've never seen it. I don't know.
I've just never seen it.
Like every new streaming service or streaming show that drops, it's like we almost can guarantee Phil has given it his time of day. You've watched Miss Marvel. I haven't even given a chance to Miss Marvel yet because I've been watching Stranger Things.
Sure.
But
Yeah, good show.
what would it take to get you to start Stranger Things? Because I really want to hear your take.
I don't have Netflix now. Once Marvel pulled out the Marvel shows off Netflix, I was like, yeah, it's
like,
dead to me.
bye.
I don't need to go back.
Later.
Okay, I can see that.
So you're not gonna get a service just for one show, not the thing for you.
I could, but I just haven't. I mean, I have tons of streaming services.
Hell, do what these Tokyo Joshi Pro fans do. Just start a free trial.
But no, I just have never watched it. Yeah, but yeah. Again, if you guys take anything away from this episode, stop caring so much about other people's opinions.
Yeah,
it just don't matter, man. It don't matter.
I like flips.
Or differing opinion, care about people's opinions, but just recognize that that's what it is. Yeah. That at the end of the day, if
They're
it
not
disagrees,
wrong.
because I get it. I have spent. I spent a lot of time having my opinion shaped by people I looked up to. And so I do recognize that, in a sense, opinions do matter.
Oh, man. I'm sorry your father told you that Money in the Bank was trash. I'm sorry I made you feel so bad. But it is what it is.
But like...
Sorry your father told you.
I did, though. I've had my opinion shaped. There's no question about it. And I know that I've had people tell me that my opinions have shaped theirs. And like that's going to be a cyclical thing. But then one day you are going to run into that person whose opinion doesn't jive with yours. And that's okay too. Or you are going to run into that opinion that from somebody whose opinions you value.
The problem is these people don't run into it. They go looking for it. Like
they go looking for it.
You didn't have
Absolutely.
to come find my tweet, bro. You go stay over there. You're not even following me.
Listen.
And again, just come after the opinion though, but don't come after the person. That's the thing that I don't like. That Phil not liking Money in the Bank. And granted, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't fucking know.
You didn't miss much.
I mean, I saw what I felt I needed to see out of it. Enough people had said that, and granted, a lot of people whose opinions I value had said, hey, the Money in the Bank matches themselves weren't that good. And so I'm like, okay, I don't need to see that for myself. I feel like I'm good. I'm good on that.
Yeah, and look, and as the people that are like, oh, you hated it because Theory won, like, I wasn't enthused by Theory winning, but I was very indifferent by it. I was like, it didn't really make me mad because it didn't surprise me, and it didn't really make me feel like, man, I got to tune in Monday to see what your boy's going to say about winning the briefcase. I just didn't care. And I think that once I'm at a point where I don't care what you do, I feel like that's worse than anything because I just didn't care. I was just like, all right, well, cool. He has the briefcase. This could work out for him. I'm not saying that, Theory is trash and he's never going to turn into anything. He could. I just personally didn't care.
Fair enough.
Bill says, why are we not talking about the biggest story this week in being daddy ass turning on the Acclaimed truly heartbroken?
That damn Billy
The
Gunn.
way that they
I knew
have
you couldn't
built,
trust them.
The way that they've built this angle and gotten people to, well, people are already cheering Acclaim, but the way that they've handled their face turn is so good.
Who knew that using the Gun Club to do it would be effective, but it's pretty effective.
Kudos.
I mean, look, Reg, I know you were down on the Gun Club for a long time.
I'm like, every time I hear that
even
theme,
though their
I'm
theme
like,
song is hot.
oh,
But
God.
I've said about the Gun Club that
I still have zero interest in ever seeing any one of them in a match. I just want to establish that.
But
I feel like, I don't know, something about this year
I'm
for
like,
them
why are
has
y'all dressed like Shawn Michaels? I thought your dad was Billy Gunn. I don't know. I don't get it.
something about this last year for them though has really worked for me, and that I think that do I think they're even 10th in line for tag titles? No. But do I think that that first?
Speaking of tag titles, we haven't fucking talked about it, you guys. What's going on here, man? The Righteous Reg Invitational Part 5 is happening on Wednesday night. Righteous Reg Invitational.
Who you rooting for in that tag match?
Yeah, I know. Who could Reg possibly root
for?
for? You've got the team you've dubbed the greatest tag team of all time, the Young Bucks. You have one team featuring the man that you say led to you starting black wrestling, like that led to your renaissance in covering black wrestling, the team of Swerve in Our Glory. And then you've got a team that features a man that you have seen directly come up from nothing. The man that you would consider not just your friend, but your brother.
I can't bet against
Powerhouse Hobbs.
I can't. I love the Young Bucks. They're the greatest of all time. Swerve, that's my dog. He's my favorite wrestler in the world. But I absolutely cannot bet against my friend winning a championship. I can't bet against it.
Boy.
I don't want him to because I'm not going to be there. That's the only reason I don't want him.
I'm not going to be there.
Because I don't get to see it with my own eyes. But
Man.
I can't bet against my fucking friend. This match is going to be so good. Young Bucks in tag matches, triple tag matches are phenomenal. We saw what they did last time with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, the other two teams. So this is going to be phenomenal. I think
this is the main too.
I would think so. Yeah. This is going to be.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that match.
To cook.
On Gun Club, it's just something about them pushing Jungle Boy in the snow in the streets of Chicago and running away that it's still funny to me.
You liked it.
I don't know why it's hilarious to me, but it is.
I'm not mad
but I am very much going to miss the phrase "scissor me, daddy ass," and big reason for that is without context, just saying that out loud, or literally just showing the clip to somebody who's never watched pro wrestling and just having Anthony Bowens going,
"Wow,
scissor me, daddy ass."
And there's little kids in the crowd saying "scissor me." It's wild out here.
Yo, scissor me, baby, scissor me.
It's great. It's so great. And the funny thing about the scissor gesture between the Acclaimed was that when, of course, I've been going back and watching a lot of like the start of the Acclaimed because I yesterday went back and found like the first time the two of them teamed up. It was on Dark. They didn't even have the current theme song yet, which they finally did put out, and that didn't come along till like their third match together as a team. The song didn't, and then and you can hear where Max like simplified his raps because for a while he was like rapping like Max Caster, but it was almost like he realized somewhere along the way, okay, you've got to like really simplify these and take pauses because you've got a live crowd here who's not going to.
Half of the crowd is not going to understand what. They're
saying. They're not going to catch it if you like do a real flow. You have to just basically say real simple shit.
Say these 4 bars, but say them real hard. That's
and make sure you say it in a way where people will catch the punchline. Otherwise, so you could hear where that shifted, and I saw the moment where. I think it was like maybe the 7th rap in, that was where they added the Anthony Bowen saying the Acclaimed have arrived, but there wasn't like a whole lot of confidence in his voice. And then like as the weeks go on, you can hear him get way more confident, and now it's his thing, right?
That's the thing.
But one of the things in there was that when he first started doing the Acclaimed have arrived, and then it was just kind of Max Caster just kind of joking with him and coming up under and doing the scissor thing, right? They were told specifically, don't do that.
Oh, shit. And
they were initially told, don't do that. Like, it's a lewd gesture. Don't do the scissoring thing on TV.
Now it's T-shirts.
But it caught on with fans. And because there were a couple of weeks where they, like, stopped. And then you could see, but the fans kept doing it, and eventually they brought it in, they brought it back, and that was that.
Look how far we've come. At one point, people were like, I can't stand Max Caster's raps, seen as a better rapper than him, all this other stuff. But the week when they snatched the mic from him and he couldn't do the freestyle during the entrance,
they were pissed.
The boos were loud. Like, bro, when they come into Arthur Ashe and Bowen says, New York City, that place is going to go crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I appreciate that it was an original act that got over. And I say original in the sense that it didn't exist outside of AEW. Those two had never teamed before. The only match that they had ever had with each other was against each other. But other than that, they had never teamed before. They were put together, and it worked. A couple more. Alexander says, at the end of the day, a review is editorial. There is no Rooney rule with respect to entertainment media. The entire discourse is a media literacy fail combined with untreated mental illness. Get it?
No, yeah, there are absolutely people that are like, oh, man, this is your review of Hell in a Cell. No, it was a tweet, sir. It was a 5-word tweet.
But not just that, though. It is true that there is no Rooney rule with reviews. Like, you are not required to be unbiased when it comes to entertainment. You're not. This isn't anything
biased. Like the Pitchfork reviews on albums are brutal. They'll bury people. They don't have to do anything for anybody.
I could leave here today and go see Thor and come back and go, yo, this is the worst Thor ever. Like, what does it matter? That's my opinion. Who cares?
You still about to go watch Thor after Phil says that, so what does it matter?
And not just that though, but like, if I say like, country music is trash. Like,
it is trash.
I'm not required to like country music. I'm not required as a music listener.
So we're all in agreement here.
I'm not required as a music listener to enjoy country music because I enjoy music. That's not how this works. It's not. You're not required to do anything. It's entertainment.
It really is. Elvis, nah. Not for me.
Yeah. And hey, what's that over there? It says Moxwell's right. Vince is going to die in the chair.
He's gonna try.
He's gonna try his best.
Yeah, he'll try. But also, I don't know. Guys, this was a fun episode of Grapsody.
Grapsody.
Got way more. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't realize there was more.
You were getting out of here, bro.
Van Twinblade said, Fightful D&D game, win, make Reg play.
What? No, what? I don't even know what that means. Dirty Dancing?
Oh. You mean we could? Okay, I would love to teach Reds Dungeons and Dragons because that would be a hoot.
Dicks and douches, dimes that dime a dozen. I don't know what that is.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Michael said Will should say here's the thing and then hold up an action figure of the thing from Fantastic Four. Again, that would be a joke that's like up my alley. That's the kind of shit I enjoy.
They're just trying to give you a little ammo for your kids for next time.
Orion Ben 666 says, like I said, Grapsody Stranger Things watch along. I would love to see that. There's a couple of reasons I would love to see.
I'm gonna be off that day. I'm sorry, you guys.
There's a couple of reasons I would love to see it because like there's certain things that were like memes like 5 years ago when Stranger Things started that I would love to see like finally catch you guys. Like if I said justice for Barb, you guys have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, right?
Nah,
absolutely. I see T-shirts. Justice for Barb.
Fans of Nicki Minaj.
Justice for Barb.
Justice for the Barbs.
Again, you have no idea what I'm talking about, right? But that was an absolute meme when Stranger Things first started. There's a reason why, and you would know if you just watched season 1. Literally, you watch season 1, and you're like, oh, that's what the Barb thing was about. Okay. And what else?
Don't get the Barbs in here.
Shout out to Stranger Things season 4 because I think it wrapped up really well, and the idea of splitting that team up but them still needing to have teamwork, beautiful shit. Some of the best television I've watched this year.
If you don't like certain things in wrestling, there is so much great wrestling, and I said that I didn't watch much WWE this week, but I watched a lot of other things I enjoyed. Impact was great this week. I felt like the stuff that I saw from AEW was pretty good. We got a really good Tokyo Joshi Pro show last night. Probably one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year so far. No, if you don't like something, there's always something else for you to watch. You don't have to keep watching things you don't enjoy.
Not to steal a quote from Tony Khan, but stealing a quote from Tony Khan. Of course, he trademarked the terms. I guess he trademarked the term, so I suppose we have to pay him for saying it. But Tony Khan trademarked the term, watch your wrestling. And that was the thing that he was trying to push, the concept he was trying to push of like, watch the shit that's for you. But I agree with that.
He said that in the scrums before too.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's a Tony Khan-ism.
If you didn't watch the Tokyo Joshi show, I would suggest you do. It's so much good stuff on there. It sucks that Willow was not on that card because she was supposed to be on there. But I
would have enjoyed that.
But I felt like Rio was a great replacement in that match. That match was great. Most of the tag matches on that card were great, especially the tag title match with
the Rio match especially was great. Like I think it would have been great with Willow, but the fact that she came through and delivered was just phenomenal.
But again, one of the things that made it great was that the crowd was able to react and cheer.
Yes, that made such a difference here.
And Rio got the crowd into it several times. Like she's just so great at reacting to the crowd and getting the energy up in the arena. So it was great to see that.
I also feel like this is the match or this night. I know she lost, but I feel like if only thing from Maki Ito is those couple of AEW matches she's had and like gifts. I feel like you owe it to yourself to give this match a shot to see like really what she brings to the table as a performer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
just the fact that everything she was doing was over again, the way that the crowd was reacting when she would start chants, when she would do the "Who's the cutest in the world," and they would refrain, and everything works in front of that crowd. I don't know. It's something about watching Maki in Japan that's just different, and it's kind of the same way with Shida. Shida coming out and having the Doctor Strange gear. And the way that
she would have done that here, though.
No, but I mean, just like the way that she emotes in Japan is a little different. I think she just looks happier in Japan. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like a nostalgia thing, and she used to wrestling that style. But no, it's fun to watch her wrestle over there.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Marcus, new member.
Hey, shout out Mark.
Let's see. And we've got Mad King says Cyberfight Promotions got best production and art. And I love me some Sova, SOVA, says, did you see Bowen's Wolverine tweet yesterday? Yes. Speaking of which, we're going to X-Men 97. Oh my God. That's the artwork that came out for that looks.
Is it a comic?
No, they're rebooting the show from the 90s.
Oh,
the
they
90s
are doing it for Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah. Now, granted, if it's only 6 episodes, I'm gonna be pissed. And let me tell you, 6-episode Defenders. No, I'm just kidding. No.
6-episode Defenders. I mean, Obi-Wan was 6 episodes, and I enjoyed it.
No, I think it's worked, but for the most part, my son was so mad. So Billy, I would say the thing people think that his biggest thing is pro wrestling, and maybe it is, but I think the biggest thing that Billy adores more than anything in the world is Big Hero 6. That is his story. That is the movie, the show, all of that. So when Disney announced that they were making a Baymax series for Disney Plus, and they announced it a year ago, he watched the trailer over and over. He was so hyped. And then when it came out, it was 6 episodes. And they're only 10-minute episodes.
Oh, my God.
So he finished it in an hour. He watched them all back to back to back. He was so mad that he waited a year for Baymax. And he got 6 episodes. Yeah. Like, we had a Baymax cake. We have done so much Baymax stuff in my house. Big Hero 6 is the series in my home. Mm-hmm. And he's seen every episode of the show, which, like, to me, that's why I'm like, look, Billy, you got a show. Like, I don't know what else you expected Baymax to be when, like, they did the Disney XD series, and it had you got a whole adventure with them characters.
You got the movie and that Fallout Boy song that they played over and over and over again until we got tired of it.
Oh my God! Hold up. Can I tell you guys? I've heard that song every day for the last however many years he's been into Big Hero 6 because Immortals by Fallout Boy. That is my son's alarm that
what
he wakes up to. It was and we can be immortals.
I never heard it.
Yeah, so it was off.
I bet you if I played it, you know it.
It's off the soundtrack.
Constantly.
I'm saying we are what we are. Yeah, the only reason I know it is because I hear it every fucking day because it's my son's alarm. He finally just switched it to a wrestling theme, so now I hear that every day. But
yeah, it's the Swerve theme, right?
It's Swerve's theme. Yeah. Well, actually, I take that back. There's no alarm right now because school's not in. Yeah, he ain't in school. It's summertime, so I don't have an alarm right now. But every day, up until he decided to switch it to Big Pressure, I had to hear Immortals every morning. Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
Yes.
No Fall Out Boy slander. Those are Chicago. One of those guys is a Chicago.
Yeah, no, I fucks with Fall Out Boy.
I believe the lead singer is from Chicago.
Patrick Stump, he is from Chicago. He produced on the Lupe album before.
He was. They also did a song for the Chicago Bulls as an anthem.
Speaking of which, favorite track off the new Lupe album?
It's probably either Naomi. No, it's probably Naomi. I really like Naomi.
I still haven't heard it. I'm awful. I listened to the new West Side Gun last night, and I wasn't super thrilled about it.
I had to
It didn't
install.
really do it for me either.
Yeah,
I was installing a garbage disposal this past weekend, and so I was like, you know what? While I'm sitting here, I am going to.
That is some
listen-
Lupe Fiasco is some garbage disposal installation music.
So I threw it on.
That sounds crazy.
Nah, but it feels like a bit of a return to form. I feel like, not that I feel like Lupe's ever really missed, but
He's had some misses. He had a couple misses.
I mean, album wise, do you feel like a whole album has been
I don't
a
think
miss?
he's had a bad album, but song wise, he's had some.
Song wise,
Sure, yeah.
It's consistent.
I feel like just talking about albums, I don't feel like any of the albums have really missed, but I feel like this was the most. I mean, it's not very long. It's only 10 tracks, but I just felt like this was the most connection I felt to an album in a while. So I was happy.
And he
with
did it in 72 hours. He did from start to
3
finish in
days.
72 hours.
Your fave could never.
Hey, I've seen
way.
I've seen that happen though. I've seen I watched an album get completed in a day. Now, granted, the beats were all done, but I remember a close friend of mine who passed away. Actually, he worked on an album. We went into the studio 5 a.m. and we're done after midnight, but the album was done.
Wow.
He went in and he was just like, we are going to knock this out. The features all came later.
How many tracks?
Actually, this is something I've never talked about on Grapsody. Did you know I did a video with Nipsey Hussle?
What?
I'm sorry. I've never told the
I'm
story.
cutting everything off.
Wait,
This guy has got to stop throwing these random stories in there. Like, hey,
Hold on a
interesting
minute.
story. Like, yo, come on.
Wait.
Get outta here, man.
Wait.
This dude will be like, "Hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but I just happen to know a wrestler," and then it'll be like one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. Like, what?
All right,
What
so
are you saying out loud?
so
What
my
did you
friend-
just say?
my friend had my friend. He's a rapper named Ron Easy. He died actually same year Nipsey died. So like, he did a track though. We did it 11 years ago. It was called My Shine. You can look it up. Ron Easy featuring Nipsey Hussle. We filmed the video. I did not do the editing. I didn't like the editing on that video, to be honest. But we filmed the video with Nipsey. And yeah, it's Ron Easy featuring Nipsey Hussle. It's called My Shine. You can find it on
You
YouTube.
met Nipsey, neighborhood
Yes.
Nip.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And they and it was crazy because, like I said, both of them are gone. Like within the span of months, it was like. Now I go back and look at that video, and I'm like, Ron Easy and Nipsey Hussle are gone within very short amount of time.
R.I.P. to the guys.
Yeah, rappers die too much.
Yes.
That's the verse.
The homie just got convicted too. That did it to Nip.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
they cleaned my man up and
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
oh
they're
my
letting him have
goodness.
it in there. He's
They
having
let
a
it-
terrible
oof.
time.
Eric Holder, not the Attorney General.
Right.
But anyway, if you've never seen it, because I know I mentioned this on RBR like years ago, but yeah, check out Ron Easy featuring Nipsey Hussle.
I'm gonna look that up after this
My
show's
Shine.
over.
Yes. And what was I gonna say? So a couple of humpers that I didn't read. We got this one from D-Lo. Says, what's good with the crew? Man, the discourse has been on another level, but am I the only one that finds it weird that Lee versus Gresham on a Rampage and not Death Before Dishonor? I wonder what they are.
Yeah, setting something up for Death Before Dishonor is what I got from it.
And I have no idea what it's gonna be.
I have I'm like, what? Where are they gonna?
One of the things I didn't like about Rampage, they've got to stop putting people in tag teams to set up a feud, because I knew straight away when they put Serena and Mercedes in that tag team, I was like, okay, it's to set up their match.
Yeah, and I hate that it was
the
essentially the
implement for
same
that.
thing that happened on the show where like partners disintegrated and it turned into a match for a Ring of Honor title. I was like, you just did that.
Yeah,
you just did
that too much.
Yeah, you did it back to back, actually.
Yes, he literally just did that.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And so then we got Life of Deem says, happy Saturday, Grapsody crew. I just watched Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and it's my first time watching a Joshi show. I've never seen anything Joshi, but I'm definitely jumping on board now. I need Miyu versus Rosa at All Out. I don't think they'll do it at All Out, and I actually think it would probably be the wrong move to do it at All Out, to be honest, in my opinion.
If I had to assume, I think it's gonna be a battle of the belts.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it in a way where you can expose more American fans to Miyu. I think that would be the best thing, is to get people to walk away from it going, damn, she's good. And I feel like pay-per-view is a place where I would never introduce anything new on pay-per-view, because those are fans that you've already...
Yeah.
Those fans are they already bought a ticket. You got them. So I would do it in a place where you could sell somebody on somebody. And I would do that on TV.
Right.
And we got the spam bot showing up in the chat.
Spam bot.
And guess what? Blocked.
Later, loser.
Yeah. So I think Grand Slam, they're saying, what about Grand Slam? They're like, that's a little too far off.
That's all the way in September. I don't think they want to do that. I would love it if they did it in All Out, because I'm in Chicago with your boy, but I think it's going to be at Battle of the Belts.
Yeah, I would do it. Even Fighter Fest. Not Fighter Fest, because that's coming up this... You could do Fighter Fest, actually. Fighter Fest Night 2.
No, go ahead.
But you could do it, Fight for the Fallen as well. Where is that going to be? I think that's in Worcester, Massachusetts, maybe? But either way.
I don't know. But no, it's a great time to get introduced to Joshi Wrestling, because, Stardom is hotter than it's ever been right now. It's turning into one of the biggest promotions in the world. Now that AEW is now building a bridge with Tokyo Joshi, like, even them having Max the Impaler possibly debuting soon, it seems like they had something to do with her and Willow coming over. So it's a good time to be introduced to Joshi Wrestling.
It is.
Yeah.
So last thing to mention on this show. And it's going to kind of be the same thing we've talked about for weeks, because we don't really have a real update. But Pro Wrestling Insider, PW Insider, reported this week that Sasha and Naomi are officially off the internal roster. Now, Sean did some digging. He learned that from what he heard, there hasn't really been an update on that front, that they've been off the internal roster for weeks. They're still listed on WWE.com, but like WWE put out an image that features Liv in the entire SmackDown women's roster. There's no Naomi on it. There's no Sasha on it. But Charlotte's on it, and Charlotte's not around today, so you can't just say it's just people who are on TV. So
a couple of pro wrestlers.
Oh, and Naomi first changed her the description on her Instagram to professional wrestler, where it would previously say WWE superstar.
Two different things.
As being noted, Peacock also, you can no longer, in choosing your avatars for your profile, you can no longer choose Sasha Banks as an avatar. So
she's off the promotions, just like they did MJF.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, "What is the internal roster?" That's kind of like the what they go by of who's active that they can use for stuff. The roster that's on WWE.com. Yeah, that's just for show.
Yeah, but they have an internal roster that basically that's for creative to use and production to use, as far as these are people who are on the show. These are people that we can work with. And because like that's how people noticed for a while. They're like, Cody's on the internal roster, like before WrestleMania. Like Cody's a guy we can use. That's also who they know, because the internal roster is split. It has heels and faces. So they know who is an official heel. Like regardless of what's on TV, they know on the internal roster, this person's a heel, this person's a face.
Yep.
That exists in WWE, works off of their internal roster. They don't necessarily work off of what's on WWE.com. It's specifically that roster. That's the real deal.
Right.
And Sasha and Naomi are not on it. Because I've seen people say, well, they're still on .com, so that could mean that they are still available. Adam Cole, I took a screenshot, I still have it, was on WWE.com while walking out at All Out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, he was still...
It's
like,
two
literally,
different
this man is in the ring with the Elite, and I'm like, this man is still on WWE.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go by that. I saw somebody who is fairly dickless say that the Naomi and Sasha still having WWE in their Twitter handles means that they're still employed. And
No, it means that they want to keep their check mark.
Right, because
I don't know who you're talking about there, so
That's
I'm just
hilarious.
gonna sit here.
somebody who tweeted some like hella racist shit this week, but and doesn't deserve to have their name dropped on our show. But either
Could
way,
be a bunch of people.
yeah.
I can confirm what this man said. This man has no dick.
Thank you. See, you even get Ghostbusters references, but I can't. But anyway, that was a great exchange. But I think back to, again, All Out. Bryan Danielson debuted at All Out, and the account AEW had to tag when they said Bryan Danielson is here was, they said at WWE Daniel Bryan is here, because that was his Twitter handle. So again, that doesn't matter. What matters at the end of the day is what the company has going, what they know. And
Listen.
I do think, you know, for a while, I think the idea was people were saying, oh, we're going to see Sasha Banks more likely in another company than we'll see Naomi. Disagree.
Stop sleeping on Naomi,
I think
bro.
I'm going to give my official bet here on Grapsody that we see Trinity Fatu in another company far before we see Sasha Banks.
I agree.
Mercedes KV, whatever you want to say.
I agree, but I was definitely watching Tokyo Joshi Pro last night and going like, if this feels like Tony going like, hey, there's a bridge here. We're definitely open to working with TJP. There were a lot of AEW wrestlers on that show, and then making it clear that Miyu is going to come over and wrestle. Not just that, but also that report coming out about them wanting to work with Stardom. Mayu Iwatani is SWA champion. She said she wants to defend that title in the U.S. I feel like that's happening. So I feel like that's one of those things where at that point where they tried to say that there were going to be a New Japan partnership with WWE and they were basically doing that to keep Bryan, I feel like the opposite is happening there where they're like, look, we're working with Joshi, Sasha. You could always come here.
Come over here. You can have fun with a bunch of people.
You can
here.
go travel over there. You can go wrestle them at our company. Look what we're doing over here. Look what our champion is doing. Like,
Listen
I feel like
up,
it's inevitable
Mercedes.
at this point.
Yes. Listen
I
up,
don't know what we're going to see. I
Mercedes.
just feel like, again, I have never felt in my life of being a pro wrestling fan, and this is how I will wrap the show, that there has ever been a more interesting time than the current period of pro wrestling. Holy shit, it's just fucking interesting. Even if it's not good news, man, is it fucking interesting. Every single week, there is something to talk about. It's never just like I mean, we watched Raw and SmackDown, so let's just talk about it. And believe me, I've been doing this 17 years. There were weeks where that's all it was. It was like, all right, nothing else happened. We just got these shows. Nah, man. Something every week is just taking up these headlines. There has never been a more interesting time than right now. That is why we do Grapsody. That is why we're here. Thank you. And really quick.
Did you get everybody? Because somebody came with us last year. Like, oh, you guys didn't get my super
someone
chat?
said that we missed their.
Who did I miss?
I don't know.
Last week it was.
I guess read that one while I scroll. Hold on. I don't want to miss it.
Is that their name? I am Lucha on here.
No, Alexander, the one on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm scrolling right now.
Oh, get Mina on US TV as well as Thekla. I agree. They're both great. Get Cosmic Angels in the US, bro. We need to see it.
Oh, I didn't read this one. This one, Money in the Bank ruined for Will even more after the Quizzlemania screw job. Really pumped for ROH. Saw Cardona, Taya, Trey Miguel here in Melbourne,
Oh
Australia.
yeah, I heard
last
that
week.
they're having a big Australian show with a bunch of American
Man,
stars.
there's so much stuff going on. That Kushida thing. Kushida's
Yep.
coming over to wrestle for Impact.
Yep.
You know what else we didn't talk about because there ain't nothing to talk about, but that Wrestling Entertainment Series.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They are wild. They put out a story where they're like, we're good, we're gonna do all this stuff. It's gonna be on the line. It's gonna be good. And then a day later, they're like, actually, the show's canceled. I don't know. What do you want us to say?
I've scrolled now for chats. I'll say this though, for anybody waiting for, I guess, more Will and Denise content, I guess there'll be some this week. Stay tuned.
Yeah, give my man his due.
But
Denise.
yes,
Money.
outside of that, folks.
Money.
All right, folks. It is now that time for me to say that that's it for this edition of Grapsody. For Philip Lindsey, for Righteous Reg, I'm Will Washington. We'll see you next time, and have a great day. Peace.